Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
Incoming transmission.
Welcome to Saving Star Trek, a show talking about one of my favorite shows, Enterprise. I am Linda Park. I play Hoshi Sato and also Empress Sato. So enjoy this show. I love that it's finding a whole new life on the streaming services. And you better hit that like button or Empress Sato will not be happy. I mean, she could make a storm happen, and she could really make your life hard. Anyways, enjoy the show, hit that like button, and thank you for being a fan of Enterprise.
Good evening, sirs and madams. I'm sorry I was a little distracted there. I was trying to turn on the Rumble part of the feed, which, yes, once again has imploded on the pad, meaning this is a YouTube exclusive by no choice of ours. They just can't get their shit together. Welcome, everybody. It's your buddy Admiral Teague. I'm here with JT Kirk and Resolute Germ. Sean is on a dangerous away mission to hang out with his mom. He'll be with us in like an hour. Meanwhile, we have an interesting episode tonight called Cold Station, which we're looking forward to talking to you about. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Hey, guys, what's up?
Great. I did watch the last two episodes, and I really don't know how they're going to pull together all those oil leases. And man, his dog, it looks great. Oh, wait. We're doing
it's Borderland Man. That's right. No, we're doing Star Trek tonight. Unfortunately,
Borderland, which
yes, it's the land on the border of the oil patch.
Right.
Yeah, no,
I got my notes wrong on this one.
Well, we get. You know what? It was a very controversial weekend. Hello, Kal-El. Hello to the Dead Man. Hello, John the Beagle Dad. Hello, Marcelo Lopez. Hello to Crimwan. Crimwan, do us a favor. Tweet out that we're live. Tell your friends about us. Let people know we're here. It's a big night. Everybody's live. Even more people are going to be live. We need to make the biggest splash we can as we find YouTube has been just like weird tube for the last few weeks. Hello, Sci-Fi Mombi. Did I miss anyone? John the Beagle Dad, hello. I think I said hi to everyone here, but do me a favor. Tweet out off the browser that we're live. It's the flare that I can't shoot up. It really helps. And hey, look, it's RRTNZ. Hello, RR. Good to see you. Going to start by saying the opening and jump to prison is very efficient storytelling. It's a great start to a great app. I don't mind this episode, and I think that we see stuff from a bunch of different Star Trek. This is now a very specific kind of science fiction. I think we're getting Star Trek that's about Star Trek. I'm not sure how else to describe it. JT, your thoughts on this?
I like it. A lot of things feel very TNG in a lot of this, which is a great thing to have. To me, it does.
Well, you have Brent Spiner.
Oh, besides him. A lot of the planet, we'll get into what they do on that, is fun. But that, well, not fun for the people involved, but it feels very TNG, like seasons 5, 6, 7. And
you know what?
This is one of my favorites for Enterprise.
It's that 5, 6, 7 sweet spot where Star Trek, the TNG was really kicking on, really kicking ass and really running on all 8 cylinders. But I realize I'm wearing my Adidas jacket, which means I'm dressed like the Tachyon Pulse. So I guess I should make some really crazy predictions. You ready?
From your sources.
From no sources. You ready? We have it all. It's absolutely established now that the second coming of Christ will be in about 15 days. He will be played by William Shatner, though, this time around. Also, Babylon 5 will be doing a crossover event with Stargate, and both will be back very, very soon. And they will feature Spider-Man. Jerm, am I right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's about right for the Tachyon Pulse. But guys, help us out. Watch the browser tab open if you're coming through later. We appreciate it. If you're out for the holidays, listening to us as your entertainment as you're traveling, please travel safely and enjoy our discussion of Star Trek episode Borderland. We're bringing back Brent Spiner, sometimes known as Brent Spinner, sometimes known as sometimes known as Brent Thomas Mins. Did you know of this?
What? No.
Okay, so from the age of from the age of 6 to the age of 14, he had his adopted father's name of Mins, but at the age of 20, so before he really did anything, so not for his career, he changed it back to his original surname, I think is what it is. I guess maybe it didn't work out with dad number 2 or something like that for the mom. I don't know.
That's unfortunate.
Born in 1955, Brent Spiner, sometimes known as Brent Spinner, sometimes known as Brent J. Mins, is 79 years old. I was thinking of making tonight's question, is he a good enough actor for this? But I think that maybe that one might go without saying that he is a good enough actor for this, but anything beyond this starts to turn into a disaster. This might be his dramatic ceiling. Does anyone want to opinionate on Brent Spiner in this? I think he's fine. I don't think there's anywhere else to go.
So I do like him in this role. I think you're right that his ceiling may not be as high as what would like to be as an actor. However, they should have ended his involvement here with a lot of Trek stuff.
Here as this character, or here,
Doctor. Yeah, this
here
is the
as
only
this
time
character, or here in this story, in this episode. Do you mean finish the Augment story?
Yeah. Just do the Augment story. You played a mad scientist. That's it. You're done.
You've done this before. You've been a mad scientist. You've been evil. You managed to do all of it without giving us lore. Again, in my opinion, he does it without giving us lore. In my opinion. He develops a new evil guy. Either he was always doing a voice or he's got a new voice. Now he's got a slight northeasterny sounding accent. So I think he's doing a voice because we found out that Brent J. Mins and Brent Spiner, as well as Brent Spinner, are all from Texas.
If he had a Texas accent, he lost it a long time ago.
This is exactly how California neutral American.
Yeah, this is the accent he's put on in all his interviews and basically everything he's done off screen for the last 30 years.
He is from Houston, Texas.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe their accent is different. And it is cool that we have a Star Trek actor from a town with a spaceport, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
At any rate, I do think that Brent Spiner does a good job with this episode. Is it his most fantabulous work ever? I don't know.
It's certainly better than all the stuff that he did 20 years later for this property.
His Star Trek stuff from bad modern Star Trek is an absolute loser. It's some of the worst stuff we've ever seen, and I don't think anyone wanted a repeat of that.
Agreed. So say we all.
Yeah. Oof.
Oh,
it was pretty bad. Oh wow!
The LCARS.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think the LCARS is about to go off. I was messing with several other systems at once, like Han Solo, when I'm deep in flight prep. But hold on a second. Let's see if we can get this one.
Admiral Teague, incoming super chat.
Thank you, RRTNZ, with a $2 New Zealand super chat. The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. I've been to Texas. It's a lot like what you see in Landman. Most of it is real. There are some nice parts, but I think a lot of it's just like it's so huge. I think there's trackless desert around. But thank you, RRTNZ, for the $2 New Zealand Super Chat. Getting things started tonight. It's good to see everybody. Splinter's performative arc and the action elevate the episode, an entire 3-episode arc. I'm ready to give. I'm getting in early to give it an A. All right, and the dead man says hello to JT.
Oh, hail. Good evening.
I'm just working on moving the upload over to the folder where I can actually. Oof, boy, have I ever made a mess of my upload. But I'm looking to move my upload over to the folder where I can show you guys the episode. It is at least a good episode. I think that this is probably, honestly, it's hard to say. In this final season of Enterprise, they do show us a lot of really interesting stories and story ideas and what amount to brief movies. So it's kind of hard to put anything too firm on this one as far as where it goes for the season. It does really well as far as it's paced well. We have a little bit of stuff from Star Trek The Motion Picture where we see a beefed up and helped out Enterprise leaving spaceport. And we have this really cool poster for season 4, which I guess we can finally show people.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. This is from the DVD set.
That is cool.
Not bad.
It's very, very thematic and very, very on point. I like how Trip is sort of leaning over onto the edge of the captain's chair, but it's sort of like he's leaning on his ship, which is sort of his thing. And we got a new outfit for Phlox, and I don't know why they didn't put Hoshi closer to the front. She's as far in back as we can get. I don't understand that part, but it was nice to see our heroes again, and it's nice to see them in this great movie poster. So that's one of the things we have for this week. And with that, we'll start talking about the synopsis of this episode, which involves, gosh darn it, wouldn't you know it, it's another ancestor of, well, it's the first ancestor that we're going to get from Data, from Noonien Soong. What's this guy's name? Like Dave Soong or something like that? Brent Soong?
A transport shuttle, no armaments.
Maybe we should try pausing that.
Yeah,
but the Klingons show up, and as you can see, we've got at least our Star Trek 3 Klingon ship level of believability. It looks pretty cool.
Feels TNG. Very
it does,
TNG.
Because we've pulled out the helmsman and weapon stations in front so that we just see the captain's chair and most of his people are behind him. This seems to be an Enterprise thing where, aside from the Enterprise, everybody's captain is like the most forward-facing person. On Shran's ship, he has the most disgracefully minimalistic bridge. It's like 2 people standing at workstations behind him.
Yeah.
So
I also like that the dim lighting on this and the very sharp angles on everything. And this is something that makes the ship really look cool. And the shadows and everything add some nice touches in here. It doesn't mean that the dark lighting doesn't mean that the Kurtzman Trek lighting was ever any good. It just is here for ambiance just this one time.
And hello to Aerial Ballet. You know what? Yeah, I agree. Also, like, this is the aesthetic of the Klingon ship that we're used to seeing. This is how we're used to seeing them look. We see the, if anything, they should be looking to the motion picture for their aesthetic on this, their design language.
Quite possibly. I mean, we don't know if this is an old set either. That's something that we need to think about throughout this is what have they reused from like Voyager and some of this other stuff at this point. But
it is likely a hodgepodge.
Yeah. I also like we had Martok's actor playing a different Klingon here in this period.
Oh, yeah.
You guys both picked up on that, right?
Yeah.
The voice is just unmistakable.
Martok from Star Trek 3?
Martok from
DS9.
Deep Space Nine.
Oh, okay.
Martok, yeah.
I think we have more than one Martok. Is General? Oh wait, so yeah, we reuse a Klingon character as a different Klingon.
No, the actor that played General Martok in Deep Space Nine plays the captain on this Klingon ship.
I thought I recognized this Klingon. So what we're saying is it's an established Klingon actor, but he's not playing the same Klingon.
Correct. It's J.G. Hertzler.
Hey, RR, thank you, sir. Anyone else think 3-episode stories are the sweet spot for sci-fi stories? Doctor Who would do 4 to 6, 22-minute episode series. So really 3 times 44 minutes. Also, the Phlox Soong sickbay exchange is brilliant. This is peak. JT is very upset because the paper towels are in that sequence, but I would say that in Enterprise season 4, these 3-episode story arcs really do work. We know we get more of them than we would have because they were told, gun to your head, this is it. So they changed their production schedule sometime around like the first third of the season being filmed. So I would think that we would have gotten less of them, but yeah, all of these, to my memory, are pretty good and enjoyable movies, except these are the Voyages, which is only okay because it's a little bit too weird. And it's Jonathan Frakes is losing his directing touch, though I will still say this, much better for TV than he ever is in movies. His movie direction is questionable at best. Anyone?
You said Jonathan Frakes?
Jonathan Frakes directs These Are the Voyages.
He doesn't really have that many movie credits to base that off of.
Just those
I don't know.
Those
I'm
4
never
Star Trek movies.
With TV. I've never been impressed with his TV for the most part.
I haven't been unimpressed. I thought he did a good job on TNG. I thought that was the high point of his directing career. And then a long plateau. He's not bad in the Deep Space Nines he touches. He's not bad in the Voyagers he touches on. Then they start to think he's one of their premier directors, and they start to say, yes, there are bounty paper towels. Maybe brawny, but there are paper towels. We'll do a forensic examination of those paper towels when we see them. Believe you me, JT wants us to know. Yeah. At any rate, here's our Klingon ship. It's looking pretty cool. Our Klingons, they're ready for everything, as we know, but the last thing they expect are these human-looking people to come on and beat the living bejesus out of them.
Teague, I hate to interrupt you, but I have to drop out.
Guys, Jerm is going on a dangerous away mission. We're going to beam him down to the northern continent. All right, bye, buddy.
Bye, everybody.
Now, also, while this is going on, JT is getting, what is it, 4 inches of snow every 15 minutes? So
thereabouts, yeah. I mean, I don't know what they call those crazy storms up in Alberta. They have it's like a Alberta Clipper or something like that. I think that's
called
what they're
the Hobo
called.
Eraser.
Yeah. Wow.
Actually, I believe they're called Chinook winds.
Okay. Well, whatever they do call them, we're getting like that equivalent over here.
You know, when Canada sends us their weather, they don't send us their best anymore. They don't send us summer heat, summer waves of pleasantness. They don't send us, cooling rains in the heat of August. They are sending blizzards. They are sending Arctic Expresses. And some, I assume, are very nice snow systems. But, here are our pals, the Augments. Now, this brings up a question about Star Trek that I've always wondered. And guys, in chat, jump in there and tell us what you think on this one. And hello, Lombardi. Let me ask you a question. Klingons, humans, same strength level, correct?
They slightly edge out these Klingons. Or maybe it's the
Augments beat the crap out of these Klingons to the fucking ridiculous level.
They might
so
have
I'm
the
thinking
same
the Klingons
strength,
and the not Augments, outright humans. Outright humans.
Weaker.
Archer
Humans
versus a Klingon. How much? Like 50%?
No. Maybe like 10 to 15% less. And it really depends because if you're
not huge,
and you're larger, right? So the actual strength is helped by the fact that most of these Klingons are supposed to be 7 feet tall. type of stuff, and most humans are not. So, but Jadzia was able to go in with Worf a lot. So I wouldn't say Klingons are ridiculously strong.
Yeah, but we don't know how strong the Trill humanoids are.
Well, true.
She could be like, I have 60 times your strength, and like throw someone into like a bulkhead and have them just like splatter like a big like catch-up packet. We don't know. Bashir, yes,
Klingons are not stronger from what we've seen.
Bashir was a little bit different than a full-on augment. He would be what we would call a designer human of the type that is slightly on the edge of science now.
Yeah.
He was, they nerfed him enough to get him past the people who check to make sure you're not trying to augment people. But I thought that as kooky as that was, I thought he played it very well. I thought the episode where he had to deal with the other augments who were botched was really good acting from him. And they remembered to do good Star Trek because doesn't his father go to jail for what he did?
Yes. Bashir's parents did.
There are consequences.
Father. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Klingons might be tougher to kill, but physically stronger. I mean, I guess if you can keep taking a beating and stay in a fight longer, you are tougher. But it seems to me like as far as feats of strength, if you're a fairly tough human, you might be able to go toe-to-toe with an average Klingon. I don't know.
Stronger,
I think Archer is also
than,
tougher than the average human.
Here, these augments, if they are stronger, it's not by like a ton. But what they do have is much more agility and flexibility. So they were able to do that really cool cartwheel kick around all of those disruptor bolts, which was badass, I have to say. The thing with it is they could just run around the Klingons like a smaller boxer type of a thing.
They chose very good actors who have good acting ability for the physical acting they do. These 3 stuntmen who play the main augments are really good actors, but they are primarily stuntmen. They are doing a lot of this grappling and tumbling as far as I can tell.
Right.
Yeah, they're supposed to be 5 times stronger than the average human. So the question is, would that be enough to easily overpower a Klingon warrior? Here's the thing. They might have a tactical advantage. Star Trek loves that, like, pen is mightier than the sword, brain is stronger than brawn thing. So they're genius and they're really strong. So maybe that's what it is. They're, like, taking advantage of an attack that they would never see coming, going with chaos theory on their attack to keep the Klingons off balance, and then literally, like, throwing them around using center of gravity and, like, really good running and jumping and tumbling by all stuntmen in this fight with the Klingons. Like, you could see their faces. It's not a lot of cutting. They use the stuntmen for the actors. These stunt actors do a good job. They take over the Klingon ship very easily. In fact, you know what, JT? They do it on day 1 very, very easily.
Yes, do.
It's been a long road. So anyway, then we have an opening stinger worthy of Star Trek. We really do. That was a good beginning. I thought that they captured my attention and they had me wanting to know what happened next. It accomplished everything that the beginning of a Star Trek episode is supposed to. And we finally got some people coming in here, although I don't know if we'll ever make quorum. Perhaps we'll pick up some viewers later in the week. Like I said, never been more important to watch with your browser tab open. And you know what? Just everybody on tonight. But we also kind of expected this as a half a holiday weekend. The holiday really, every year it's kind of like this for Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving weekend, especially when it comes late, it tends to cover 2 whole weekends. And weekend 1 is usually the grand kickoff to the holiday, with weekend 2 being a little bit more sedate. So I expect to be doing a little better, but it was reversed this year, which is really weird.
So this is a Rick Berman, Brandon Braga thing going on here. So
well, they have backed off a little bit from the show, but the production, is going forward as they're under their auspices. But the truth of the matter is, they have handed this off to Manny Koto and Sussman.
I do like this prison scene here. I think this is pretty fun. The hand restraints, have they used these before in the show? Because if they
but they're
haven't,
cool.
it is pretty cool. They're magnetic locking like that. I found them to be a really cool touch. Because how do you make a futuristic prison and not have it be just bars? You know, this is it. This is it. It also kind of shows the evolution of how they treat people in confinement. Although this is a very VIP villain. You not like, I don't think you're going to ever stick him in Gen Pop. So they give him his own room.
Yeah. He's allowed to have a very high-tech piece of equipment, a pencil.
Yes.
He's only allowed a pencil and paper.
You give that to John Wick, and you're still going to have a bad day. So,
especially if you're mean to his dog. But
yes.
But here's the thing: setup and payoff is still very important in Star Trek. We have argued or debated, and rightly so, the amount of sci-fi versus ripped from the headline sensationalism in some of these later seasons of Enterprise. It's been a worthy debate. It usually comes out as it's a little too current eventy for the time it was out, but now we can take it, seems to be the consensus. It was a mistake then. People who have said that we're writing for the future, I tend to agree, but it is just a little bit of a problem when sometimes what they're doing doesn't quite add up to like logic. But right here, it's still good TV, and this particular kind of sci-fi is Star Trek built off of Star Trek, but it's done with a lot of respect. It really is done with a lot of respect. And anybody else but me get the idea that this was one of the 5 episodes of every kind of Star Trek combined that JJ watched when he wrote his goddamn movie? Because this is
probably
Into Dark. About half of Into Darkness is just wrapped right through this plot.
Right.
If you've seen Star Trek Into Darkness, this is done far better here by better actors. But in Star Trek Into Darkness, an angry black man blows up a building filled with Federation records so that they can save his daughter, who isn't black. It's really weird, if I remember this one correctly. But he's given the explosive by Khan. It's the size of a button, but hey, it's that far into the future that I can believe that much of it. But like what we have is something we almost never see, a Federation guy gone bad. And it's the laziest JJ hack of all time. The guy's daughter is sick. We have someone in the future who still has a sick kid. They couldn't fix it in time.
Yeah. This story here, though, I find this better. Where they bring in Jonathan Archer. I think Brent Spiner kind of, he has a genius acting moment here, where he's like air quoting,
Jonathan
like,
Archer.
the man that allegedly saved the planet.
Did they bring you here to name the prison after you?
I was like, oh, okay. Because we know exactly who we're dealing with at this point, right? There's in the expression on Brent Spiner's face was just so awesome. I don't know how many times
I love that he did not do the lore sneer, though. He did not do the lore sneer, so I was
true.
Good on him. Good on him.
True. I wonder if they had him do that a couple times. Like they shot this 5-6 different ways, and then they're like, okay, do it without that one time.
You would be crazy not to, because you've used this actor so much and you're so familiar with him. And I forget who directed this one. Maybe we could look that one up quick, but this might have been the kind of thing that you would want a Star Trek regular. Maybe, you know who's done a great job in this is Roxanne Dawson or Geordie LeVar Burton are both 2 of the better directors for this show. Quite honestly. And also Tom Paris does a great job every time we've had him. In fact, Tom Paris might be this show's best director.
Right.
He might be the best director we see connected to the show as far as episode by episode. I don't know. I'd have to really look at it. Roxanne Dawson does a great job every time, though.
There's some legit cool stuff here that they have him inventing and redesigning and pondering on, but I don't know if it really cuts through. Without a computer or like any way of doing research, he's just thinking up things in his mind. And I also don't believe that they're just taking all of this every financial quarter and just throwing it in the incinerator in the basement. You know, like I think Section 31 is scanning all of this into a computer somehow, right? Are they really
Those
destroying all of
weird
his
new
all of his
Mako
ideas?
guns came from this room.
Right. Exactly. They're like, I don't know if humanity is really above using not using his bright ideas.
It's like, hey, turns out Doctor Soong designed a much more painful and dangerous phaser rifle. Really? Yeah, it's good stuff. We've got to give this a try. Give it to that crazy Major Hayes. He loves guns. Okay. You know, I mean, yeah, why would you throw it away? It's too valuable of an asset. And you've got, you know, a genius weapons designer. I said that to Germ too. I don't believe. Hey, Jonathan, welcome to Jonathan Hancock, who has shown up. We are so glad to have all of you here. Anyone can watch with the browser tab open. Woo! We are challenged tonight, man. You know, for the Star Trek show that we just real quick, when we started this endeavor some 80 weeks ago, these were the mandates that were non-negotiable that we tried to work around. We want a Star Trek show that starts at 10 and ends at 1. 9:30 every week was a struggle. People did not want it. We got extreme pushback on that one. And going past 1 a.m., people just don't want to do it. They want the show on at 10. They want it over at 1. So everybody helping out to do this one, we appreciate it. Like, we went where we were asked. So, you know, nights like tonight when we really are hard up against it, and there are failed raids. Thanks, Tony, but it didn't work out when the shows are an hour apart. The raid just isn't going to work, but we do appreciate it. Yeah. It's not gonna work. Do they still use her for Strange New Worlds? She's not going to turn down money. But what is she going to do? And by the way, like, her work is probably not well represented because when she's done with an episode of Strange New Worlds, they don't have a good editor. When Strange New Worlds sends us their editors, they are absolutely not sending their best. But
right.
Soong's handcuffs here, pretty impressive. And by the way, although we are wondering what they do with the stuff he has on the wall, I thought that the prop department did a pretty decent job, although I think we see two of the exact same documents in a row next to each other. They did a pretty good job of having like handwritten, insane scrawled notes for a madman. He has like perfectly sized madman writing. This looks like a madman's scribblings. It really does. They did a good job. Like, you know, he's the Ozzy Osbourne of unethical space geneticists. He's a believer in this. And he's done a few unprincipled things. And again, he's not really directly channeling data or lore or Noonien Singh. But the thing is, this is the first time we've seen him not really deeply made up, except for that one brief flash where the Q makes him human.
He does look good here. They did a good job making him look clean. You know, even in the prison, he's well taken care of. He has singular mental focus. So he's
a bit of a genius.
Yeah, but he shaves. You notice that he shaves well. They could have had him with a long, frazzled beard and make him look.
Because he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to have the beard. What do you have in Star Trek? Do you have like a little thing that transports your beard hairs to like the beard hair dimension where all the toilets flush and stuff? It's like the beard hair and poop dimension.
Maybe. But, you know, they've had a lot of other characters in prison stories over the years in all kinds of Star Trek. And usually they look more disheveled.
Even William Shatner.
Here we go. Right here.
Here we go. Some cute looking people in some old Navy clothes.
Yes.
Everyone's on vacation and they're the fastest ship and they're the closest. By the way,
the only one in range. They're the only
Rosario
one in range.
Dawson directed Strange New Worlds, if I had to pick an episode, I bet she directed Ghosts of Illyria from season 1 or something close to season 1, when there was still the facade that they're going to try to do the right thing, because Manny Koto like was in on the beginning of writing season 1 of it, and then they just threw that out the window, and he's not on the credits anymore. There's not enough money to pay for the regular. Yeah, you know what? He's not playing Dr. Okran either. I thought about that one. So yeah, he is good in Independence Day. I like seeing the Star Trek actors in different Roland Emmerich movies.
So, of course, they're the only ship in range. Archer seems
I take
to
it
have
that the odds are
of,
long and our chances are thin.
And T'Pol's back from Vulcan.
Yeah, she got that wrapped up, although that story will reemerge because that guy's going to stalk her to Cold Station. I believe. He shows up in the next 5 episodes. I watched a bunch of it in a row. This is where Enterprise becomes extremely bingey, guys. It's going to be a little bit hard for us to break this up into chunks because what happens is there are season-long story threads winding through every episodic episode. They do keep the episodes more or less episodic, except in the 3-episode arcs where obviously it ends at the end. This episode cannot, it's got a cliffhanger. So we have a lot more to do in this episode, but the stories, the individual stories, they're episodic enough is the way I would put it. And they leave you in a good place. They're well thought out with whatever. They're well thought out 15-act teleplays. Is there any other way to put it?
Sure.
Yeah, oh my. She looks great. It's the most normal we've let her look. We've grown out her bad pixie cut so that she can look relatively normal. And she's dressed in clothes you could buy at like Old Navy for a change, or H&M, considering what year it is, right? I mean,
yep.
She is kind of turning human. And what's weird is there's no knock-on effect to Trip. He's not becoming more Vulcan or more in control of his emotions. He's staying very even-keeled because he always was. Archer's the one who's taking the Vulcan cultural turn, in my opinion. Any thoughts, JT?
I would agree. Yeah, that's fair.
The fact that
That's
he's
fair.
being less emotional, the fact that he's considering things more, and the fact that he's not rejecting logic. And he's not being a mean dick to the Vulcans all the time, although he did not like the way Saval spoke to him.
Yeah.
All right, so here they are, our pals, the Augments. They are, in fact, augmented. They have taken over the Klingon ship. They're quite taken with its weapons. They are absolutely thrilled to have a ship this badass. And their goal is to go out there and to basically make everybody fear them and be a big problem. And there's already a small power struggle going on. Rakeem, their number 1 guy, is the guy in the torn up blue shirt. His chick next to him, she's got the Klingon dagger. They've all got appropriated Klingon gear. It makes sense in the context of the episode. And, they love this Klingon ship. I would have liked to have heard something about how it stunk bad or something, now, or the food sucked. Like these augments, Let's see. Apparently they have regular clothes. They have to be goth or emo. Who knows? They're both the same thing. Yeah, I mean, they did go for what you would think would be like a millennial emo kind of look for these people. But let's face it, there are a lot of people running around with these weird non-haircuts, which were very popular at the turn of the century. And, we've got the members of Nickelback here with one female fan. It's the only way to describe it.
We do.
Look at this photograph, okay? That's all I have to say. So they're already having a bit of a power struggle, and they're already having different ideas about what to do with this great power. The one thing they're all on the same page about is they're going to hurt some people if anyone gets in their way. But I believe Rakeem, he kind of wants to go somewhere and just start to gain a foothold. And I would guess the best way to put it would be consolidate their gains. What do you think?
Sorry, I'm distracted by the buttons.
Yeah,
Panel.
the panel is pretty cool and pretty real looking, and it has some good sound prawn. But it seems like Rakeen wants to go to just any planet and consolidate their gains.
Which is
They've
smart.
got a ship.
Which is smart, right?
Grow
Turn
some
off
food.
the transponder.
Test
start-
out the ship, blowing up some asteroids. Don't go into battle with your weapons for the very first time you use them. Experiment with the shields. They don't have a cloak yet, but experiment with the shields.
They have 0 allies. Eventually, once you get yourself kind of situated on a planet, you start trading skills or goods or whatever it is, right? Start building yourself up a base of power. But you're a couple dozen and you haven't exactly grown your numbers at all, right?
You want to
need
go
a
somewhere
safe
with a
haven
fun.
for that.
You want to go somewhere with a fungible resource that you can sell to people, dilithium crystals, something like that. Get your account. Like, you're at the early phases of your RTS here. The only good news is you're going to live to like 200 because you're an augment. You have like a Vulcan-like lifespan. So like this guy's like, we're going to put about 15 to 20 years into consolidating our gains, and we won't really be appreciably older based on what's going on with us. But Malik, our more Caucasoidal augment, he has a little more anger and a little more focus in what he wants to do with this.
Yeah.
So it's basically mission of conquest and attack versus consolidating our gains and opportunistic attacks while we train. Seems to be the two visions. What do you think, JT?
Yeah, I think that, well, if they've even really thought that far ahead, I don't know. They seem more interested in, especially when the lady comes along in here, in having internal intrigue.
They're having a little bit of a soap opera moment among the augments. But you know what?
Yeah.
Ariel asks an interesting question that we have ourselves debated on several occasions for this show. And that has been, the Klingons would know that the communications are lost from the ship. Why haven't the Klingons dispatched a group of ships to take them out? This is the best we could figure out. We started working on this one in Marauders. It held up through all the other Star Trek we've seen from this era up into TNG. It actually holds up. This seems to be the deal. There is a Klingon empire, and that is basically their North Sea and their Scandinavia. Don't go there. They'll fuck you up. They'll all work together to fuck you up in that area. However, if one of you wants to go out a Klingoning or a Vikinging, you can go out on your own. And if you take over a planet, hey, you get to be governor, and the Empire will gladly incorporate it into their, into their holdings. But, it helps to be close to the Empire, where you can get some help, and not to go out too far where no one can do anything for you. So what these freebooting Klingons were up to and where they were, maybe they were looking for resources. Everything about Klingon society, we seem to think that ENT, Enterprise Klingons, are a lot like Vikings. That's why no one comes looking for them. Because if they get destroyed out on their own volition looking for personal gain, well, that's their fucking problem, and no one owes them shit. If they get destroyed within the borders of the Empire, defending the Empire, you've just fucked with everybody, and everyone comes down on you like an angry swarm of bees. JT?
Yeah, I would largely agree with that. I think maybe the ship they took is probably one of those adventurous Viking longships, or a glorified pirate in this era. And I think
there is no flight plan.
Conversations from Worf in DS9 where basically he said times were different back then, and people are saying what we need to
talk
keep
about it.
Bringing, well, not necessarily that particular one, but there's multiple instances where Worf over TNG and DS9 encounters other Klingons who want to attack the Federation or attack the Cardassians or the Romulans, and they'll say, we need to bring back the glory days of old, where they basically just went around like pirates in conquistadors and Vikings and did that whole type of thing. So one ship, they might have been just going out there, didn't tell a lot of people. Their little corner, their little province in the Klingon homeworld knows they're gone. But one lost ship. Oh, okay. Maybe they died well in battle. I don't think it is really that huge of a concern. So.
Yeah, no, I think that the rest of the Empire would just be like, dozens of ships leave the system every year, going out trying to conquer other planets or oppress people in the name of the Empire, and we just do our thing. So, you know what? If they don't come back, it was a good day for them to die.
And how
It's
many
not like
ships
the
does this
Federation,
stuff have?
where 100 years later they'll go looking for the USS Archon.
Yeah, what level of resources and power does the house that they took this ship from really have?
And
Right.
where is the Klingon Empire even at this point? Are they on the balls of their ass? Because we know they're secretly negotiating with the Romulans, who also
Or,
are
the
messing
Cloak.
around with the Klingons.
Yep.
Well, they're not going to get it for about 80 years, but they are messing around in weapons development and mutual harassment of the Federation.
Yep.
And the Klingons at this point, if I have my lore right, they're getting attacked all the time by the Romulans, but the Romulans are covering up as weird aggression that the Federation is getting in under the radar, right? They're provoking them on behalf of making them think the Federation's out to get them.
And the dead man says they're on the honor system.
It is so hard to say what's going on with honor, because what we did was we are in a chronological time where the Klingons were dishonorable, but the Romulans were honorable. But we've run through Gene Roddenberry rewriting both species for Next Generation, where the Romulans have no honor except maybe some kind of vaguely ninja version of Bushido where it's okay to be a bastard. And the Klingons have developed a deep sense of honor. They're very much taken with doing things the right way. They don't want to, they do not want to, engage in no Klingon would do something like poison someone. They want to fight face to face with their bathless. They'll challenge people openly. The Klingons are basically 15th century, late Renaissance, early Baroque era humans dueling. Alexander Hamilton would be a fairly advanced Klingon. But there are Klingons as smart as Hamilton because they have warp drive and shit.
And we get
It's
more
weird.
of
I
this
don't know
later on
how they advance.
in
What's
this
that?
season. There are more stories that
We
talk
do
about
explain why they
this.
don't quite work out. Hello, Radioactive. Good to see you, sir. You know what? Like I said, anybody who can shoot out a flare on X, hit the like and follow, let people know we're out here. We expected a low night, but this is crazy. Who else is
Right.
on that we didn't know about? Or what is going on with X with YouTube that it's just not. Is YouTube partially down or something? I am absolutely baffled. Or are
folks,
these
this is why
episodes
you always
poorly
hit the bell.
regarded?
This is why you hit the bell to get your notifications. But my feed has been getting so progressively worse and just
I
giving
don't
me
know if
channels
people are
that I do
aware
not
we're on.
want to watch on my own page.
We need your help to increase the bandwidth, and also watching with the browser tab open, never more important. We're about 25% of the way done with our episode, so don't worry about that. We're right on schedule. But let's take it a little bit forward. Archer is, a little bit kind of enjoying the way that, this Soong character, because he has no history with the Federation yet. He's the first super criminal and first notable member of this family. They're not related to Khan. It's just a sound-alike name. It's spelled a little different too. But like Soong is amusing to Archer. But Archer, I guess, has been through so much worse. He's I spent 5 days in a shuttlecraft with Degra not showering. I can fucking deal with this. He does seem a little more seasoned after season 3. He does seem like he's been the wild-eyed explorer. He's been the mildly sophomoric idiot from season 2. He's been the grim military commander at odds with himself from season 3. We got his mirror performance before this season started. That weird thing happened. And that is counted by season 0 by so many people. I'm seeing it everywhere now. It seems to be the most accepted way to call the mirror season, or the mirror two-parter. It doesn't make sense with anything else but the Zindi season, though. I guess it could happen during this season, but Archer has substantially changed, and he hasn't gone back to his Boy Scoutish pompadour yet. He's still got the grim, waxed-down Caesar, Or I guess he's got a less grim Caesar, but he's really just got like a working man sort of haircut and very energetic on the bridge. We have a redesign here. We see a different bridge chair. We see different aesthetics. It's a lot lighter on the bridge this season. And we're using light to our advantage in a way that's similar to the original series. They seem to have re-aestheticized the bridge to evoke a little more of the original series, although we still do have those lights that my sister had in her basement rec room.
It is lighter, but it's also HD, and I think the color
The first
depth
year
and
of
things
HD.
are improved here over the previous seasons. So I think they've
It's now digital.
worked
That's
with
what
this
it is.
a little bit. Yeah.
Since
And that helps.
Since Stormfront 1, it's been digital.
Right.
So it's
So
very experimental and very controversial indeed. But as you can see,
Yes.
he is sharper. We also have moved up to 1080 broadcasting on these restreams. But as you can see, like there's no like blurry fish tank effect on Archer that I can see, even as I look
Right.
at it on YouTube.
right. It is kind of a little bit odd that some areas like the quarters are still kind of dingy looking. You think they'd
They
have a little
should
bit
be,
better,
though.
better lighting in the quarters.
Yeah. And then we have this great Star Trek TMP moment where
Oh,
we
this is beautiful.
relaunch. I love
This is
this.
beautiful.
I
And the
loved
music.
this. Yeah. Yeah. It was Archer's theme, right? It was a variation on Archer's theme.
Yeah, it also can evoke a little bit of eye sweat, if you know what I mean, on that.
Yes.
The longer you sit there and think about it, and the longer time has passed, and you're just really waxing poetic here on some of this stuff.
And
It
the
is
opening fanfare of Archer's theme, there's two different ways they can do it. They didn't do the oboe version on this one. This one is the brass one that is really ethereal and reminiscent of the Alexander Courage music that we got in early Star Trek. Just really pulling at our feelings is like very, very ethereal. And, you know, at the same time, as they start to clear the space dock, it becomes somewhat determined and resolute. So good Star Trek music here. Very, very good Star Trek music. And this CGI is better than anything in Star Trek Strange New Worlds by a lot.
yeah, 100%.
Hammering it.
And I don't know if they ever feel like they got one of these moments in season 1.
As you can hear, it is the more brass version of Archer's theme. And I do love the beauty of Archer's theme. And you know what? Like, they haven't used it to the correct effect. Look at the moon there. This is one of the most beautiful shots of the whole series, honestly, as far as just pure aesthetics.
The moon looks a little CGI,
Wow!
but the ship is amazing.
You're not supposed to go to warp in the system according to Star Trek the Motion Picture. So what's the deal? They went to like extremely high impulse, edge of warp 0.9.
I mean, look, in Zephyr Cochrane went to warp in the system.
He didn't know any better. He could. It would have taken him like 9 years to get out of the system to use the warp if he hadn't. He had no fucking choice. And what was he going to do? End up a damp spot in the moon? It wasn't going to hurt anything if he fucked up.
They also did warp testing between, what was it, Earth and Jupiter or Mars and Jupiter, stuff like that.
They made it back from Earth to Jupiter and back in, what was it, 7 minutes, and we used that to figure out what warp 0.5 was. So we had a hard number on it for a while. It was a lot faster than the speed that it would have taken the Voyager to get back at warp 10 from 70,000 light years. But let's just say they are never consistent in their numbers. It is all, yeah, I would agree. Also, the lighting on Enterprise is better than the lighting on Deep Space Nine and the lighting on Voyager. By a lot. The Deep Space Nine, it's not that the lighting is bad. It's just that their aesthetic, they chose it to always be darker. And they chose it to be dark overhead. and they like long shadows going down, and they liked your brow to shadow your eyes, and they like to make your eyes look like they were back further in in your head than they were, especially with Dr. Bashir, who, as we know, is Dr. Soran's nephew. That's right, Malcolm McDowell is his uncle, and that's why when Dr. Bashir plays crazy, there's something familiar about it. He sat down, you would sit down with your Uncle Malcolm too and be like, how do you play crazy? Because there's very few people as good at it as Malcolm McDowell. So when he played crazy a few times on Deep Space Nine, or went in the holodeck and was a crazy version of himself, or the mirror version of himself, great stuff. He played crazy very well, and I loved his secret agent stuff, but Deep Space Nine chose a very dark aesthetic, and they chose dark lighting, and quite honestly, Voyager was just being cranked out almost soap opera level production sometimes. Sometimes it was really bad. JT, thoughts on the lighting in Voyager? I'm sorry, Voyager. Go ahead.
Lighting on Voyager was interesting. They definitely tried to level up the threats and the tense nature of things by turning all the lights off the second they went to red alert to try to make Aunt Kathy look a little bit tougher. I think they thought that she was too soft looking. They never needed to do that with a lot of TNG, if you notice, right? They started doing that a lot more with DS9, and I think that might have been after Voyager was on. And so I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the Voyager lighting, especially when they had the lights on with Kess and Neelix. I would have rather not seen any lighting for that, so I wouldn't have to look at them. All jokes aside,
all I'm thinking of is like Neelix as the Tommy Lee of Deep Space Nine. It's like, someone stole my video camera, Captain. It's like, I know. I've been watching.
Yeah.
It's okay, sir. Yeah. She's 4.
Oh,
wait, I'm sorry. That's Neelix. Sorry, I get confused. Sometimes my mind blanks out while I'm producing and doing Star Trek at the same time. But hey, what are you going to do? They also tried to make Aunt Kathy better looking. I think she was cute as Janeway. It's afterwards that, like, she's just like, at that point, she's like almost 50. She starts at,
no, she was younger
her
than
first
that.
year.
She was
the
younger
first
than
year
that.
She's 39. In year 1, I think she's 39. So, a little quick math, she's 46 at the end, so she's getting close to 50. And we don't see her right away for a while. And then the next time we see her, she's moved on a little bit in life. She hadn't worked, and she just simply looks older.
So, but Kate Mulgrew was born in 55.
So in 1995, she was already 40.
Okay.
39. I was right.
Yeah.
First year, she was 39. Yeah, so she was 46 at the end of this one. You know what? I thought she looked hot in, like, what was it, Macroverse or whatever, the one where everyone turns into a gigantic germ. When she pulls off her jacket, and her body was pretty cute. I don't know. The captain, believe it or not, was considered like the second most attractive woman in the cast for most of the run, because it was supposed to be B'Elanna, and that flamed out, and it was supposed to be Kess, and that doesn't work out. Then B'Elanna starts gaining fans, and they get her forehead right, but they've already picked up Jerry Ryan by that point, and we've got a very pregnant B'Elanna running around in the jacket. So they're all over the place in Voyager. Does it make sense? No. What are you going to do?
Jessica could have worked for them too. But it didn't anyway.
No. But I would just say the lighting on Enterprise a lot closer to the lighting on Star Trek, and the by which I mean TOS, and a lot better.
I did see a really mean meme on X the other day, but they took a picture of Kate Mulgrew in that prison movie, or the prison TV show on Netflix, Orange is the New Black. Because
she like the prison psych, or she's in jail.
She's in jail on that as a Russian, which is kind of funny because her accent's not good. But I am a Russian. They captioned it a picture of her, like at 70 or however old she is now, right? They said, Captain Janeway after a year of hell, part 1.
Give this woman some coffee.
Oh. So anyway, back to Enterprise. The ship leaves the system. They also have some great musical motifs here and an uplift to let you think we can breathe a sigh of relief and we're going to go on a happy mission. There's some optimism about leaving Earth again, that they've been able to get
this isn't going to be this is going to be a weird mission, but it's not going to be like the mission to avenge the attack on Earth. It's not going to be the Starblazer Xindi mission.
Right. This is true exhale and reset.
What's really weird is I remember Children of the Corn with a super young looking Linda Hamilton. And at this point, now I'm starting to wonder. Yep. I know. You know what? At this point, I'm starting to wonder how we could have this few people watching, because we have people like saying hi. We have people sending us chats, and yet there's less people watching this show than are on it.
Yes.
Guys, if you're out there, we've never kind of really needed you to open up the browser tab more. We knew this would be a rough night. We didn't think it would be this. Someone already did. Thank you. We appreciate it. Little help. And you know what? What are you going to do? Except maybe make the show shorter this week. At any rate, we catch up to our augments. Oh, by the way, first we have a talk that JT, sir, I think that this is a part of the episode that you probably really... You probably... Oh, I had it there too, and I missed it.
Oh, that was kind of a...
There it is.
Nice little friendship. Well, before that, or maybe it's after that. Oh, you wanted... Oh. I see
now,
it.
I've noticed that to add realism, JT has focused on this since day one of the show. The paper towel roll has gotten larger, so they've replaced it, JT. So that there you go for verisimilitude. So the paper towel, they get used; they don't just regenerate. And if you noticed, now I just imagine some stagehand needed a paper towel and just didn't say anything, but it's actually torn, and the bottom paper towel is all askew in a mess.
Yeah. This is also from the era where you only have full pieces of, your paper towel. You don't have the half sheets. So think about how much is being wasted on the Enterprise right now. They've got to have a whole room just dedicated to paper towel waste. Because the doctor, excessive hand washing and all that.
At this point, it's the only thing I could think of that makes sense. And okay, now I understand where a lot of our audiences is that Snowdub's on. Okay, it happens. Maybe Snowdub will end before the other show starts, and we'll have like a few minutes here with a good analytic. But oh my God, gun to my head! And why does Bumble have to blow up on the launch pad every single goddamn? I am so tired of this Bumble issue every week. It's so not worth the extra work that it's... well, we'll talk about it more later. Anyway, JT, you got to see the paper towels. Hey, the dead man, thank you. Teague, you get by with a little help from your friends. You know what? For a show that was doing 500 a week, like 4 episodes in a row at the end of the Xindi arc, to like scraping by a 200 the last 3 or 4 weeks in a row, I do need my friends at this point. It looks like, for some strange reason, this must be the most obscure and least looked into bunch of episode of Enterprise episodes, because clearly, I mean, if we keep having this kind of problem with Star Trek on like a regular weekend, then that would be concerning. It's just that this holiday weekend has covered 2 weekends, and it has just been the money is really super appreciated. It offsets our expenses, and also it helps me make Star Trek video essays and the It's a Wonderful Life video essay that struggled. And, I would hope that some of you could find a moment to watch it. I thought it was pretty good. Did you catch it, JT?
Catch what? I'm sorry. I was trying to listen.
I made a holiday video essay for the channel.
Oh, I have not had time to get to it. I'm sorry. I have
No
had
problem.
very
I'm
little
figuring it'll be
YouTube.
I honestly think it's going to be a slow burn on the upload. I wasn't too concerned about that one, but here's what happened. Krimlon is a member for 9 months, sir. Krimlon. There are more people out there than we're showing as watching the show. So something's going on with YouTube to a degree. I don't know what to tell you on that one. It is disheartening, like, because we don't do this so much for the money as we do it out of love of Star Trek and to bring you a Star Trek show that we want to be the best on the air. So this is when we can have the best team. And this is where we could have the best show. So whatever, you know what? Maybe we have to do some video on demand tricks later on down the line. But you know what? 5, that's up. If we could hold it about 5, I would consider that a victory. Tony was doing 22, but that was quite a bit earlier in the evening. So that raid didn't work out and was never going to. But 6, even better. Thank you, sirs and madams. Appreciate it. The exchange between Phlox and Soong is interesting. And I never had a problem with John Billingsley as an actor. I have had problems with the ambiguity and the weirdness with which Phlox has been unevenly presented. And also, it looks as though we have passed the point where the aesthetic choice has been made to let him look a lot more human. And I suppose that's to make the Terra Prime people either look worse or because they're running out of money. I don't know which one it is. Or to help him act.
The makeup time and all that stuff. They figured, you know what?
They're covering a lot of the expressive parts of his face till now, too.
Yeah.
They weren't getting the best performance that they could have out of him.
This conversation was a good conversation in isolation. And I think I agree with RTNZ here that the actors did a great job. And it's part of the reason why I really love this episode is these two are given a chance to shine, but also move the story along with some exposition that educates the audience without hammering things over our head. And they don't linger between these two for such a long time that you get bored. What I am concerned about here is if you have a memory of the previous season, we know Phlox has a different set of morality than Earth. And so we don't really know all of everything that got Soong behind bars. We know some of it is because he stole the embryos of the augments.
He grabbed the embryos of the augments, and I think his imprisonment is worse because he's shown that he's too dangerous with tech. They've said that he the only thing he can have is a pencil because he hotwires everything. They gave him like a Texas Instruments calculator from the 90s, and he used it to like open all the doors in the facility.
Yes. However,
but Archer's glib about the level of security threat he presents because he can open every airlock on the ship. He's that dangerous. I would have a guard watching him every moment of the. I'd have 2 guards on him all the time. What about you?
At least I'd probably
you'll be staying with the Makos, sir.
I would still keep him in irons on the ship if I could. I just wanted to point out
I'd make him wear the bracelets, but I might not have them activated until he fucked with me.
Everything we've seen with Dr. Phlox, though, especially in season 3, the real ethical and moral line between good and evil here is vanishingly thin because of the stated values that put Soong behind bars versus the medical.
He would not have gotten in trouble on Denobula for this, which is a very interesting way of trying to rescue rescue this character's character. Dr. Phlox has lacked character, by which I mean he has been a little evil. He has been a little uncool. He has been a little bit of a selfish dick. And also he has been very unethical more than once or twice. And they've just leaned back on, I'm not human, to the point where in the mirror universe, a human ship,
right?
Yeah. In the mirror universe, his character is almost the same. So he had to get low points on acting for that, even though we enjoyed mirror Phlox more than real Phlox because it's appropriate. It's like, Archer's like, kill him. He's like, with pleasure. And it's like, John Billingsley can act. So mistakes were made all along the line with Phlox. And I think the deal was this: John Billingsley either had another act acting like daily in a play, or John Billingsley was in demand on other series and had 3-episode deals with other networks and other people all over the place. Because we get through a lot of episodes without him, and there's a few episodes where people who shouldn't be talking about what Phlox should be talking about just show up and say it for him, like Hoshi.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Or
so
Cutler.
I think we need to remember this. I know 3 episodes feels like a long time, but if this were more a novel than just, made for TV 3-part series here, I think you may see Phlox maybe sympathize with Dr. Soong a little more, or he might get a little bit compromised by some of this. It's a weird group of 2 people here. This interaction has us look at, because
these are 2 very uncool scientists whose Venn diagram overlaps way too much for one of them to call the other one bad.
Precisely. Anyway,
but that happens.
Moving on. Yeah. Did we already pass the scene with Commander T'Pol and Captain Archer in the gift? You went back a little ways.
Possibly.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
She gives him some Cuban cigars, which, they're not illegal in the future. And I guess he can just take the anti-cigar smoking pill from the replicator. But he does appreciate them. And I forget what the gift was. God.
This was a nice scene. I did appreciate it.
Oh, wait, no, he gives her the gift. That's right.
Yeah, he gives her the gift. I don't know if Jolene Blaylock has the strongest acting piece on this in the world, but it is a very nice gesture that he says, this is so you never lose your way, or something like that, and hands her this early 20th century,
maybe
compass.
Late 19th century compass.
He said it was
really
early 20th.
cool. Is that what he says?
Yeah.
It's really cool. It looks late 19th century or early 20th. When we say early, we mean like World War One or earlier. Yeah, World War One or earlier. It's gorgeous. It has some aesthetic beauty to it just in and of itself. And he's like, this will help you find your way. And then we have our discussion with, very good memory, JT, with Phlox and Soong. And there they again in the corner. JT, you want to talk a little bit about the paper towels? I know you always have to get a little bit of... Should he have had a little basketball hoop next to it to play a game of horse with the old paper towels above the garbage can? Is that why this pisses you off?
The issue is Bed Bath & Beyond didn't sell those in this time period. So they have their not quite brand name steel, step to raise the lid trash bin there. So you can clearly see here that the paper towel roll is a little bit shorter or a little bit lighter in this angle. I'm wondering if these were shot at different times, because they definitely don't appear to be the same size. I also am thinking maybe they should have some more futuristic ways of decontamination than hand washing at this point.
You know what it was? They had to bring in the hero towels for the up close shot. This is the prop. This is the backup towels. The hero towels had to come in for the close up. This is the stand-in towel. They're saving money by keeping the principal towel actor out of the principal roll of paper towels, and they had a couple of different towel wranglers on this one. Anyway, Dr. Phlox's outfit is just like, I don't know, why are we I guess now we're going to wildly experiment after leaving him in the same outfit for 3 seasons and never dry cleaning it.
Yeah.
And you don't have any right to get in his face. And here come our pals, the Orions.
Cool ships.
Their ships are cool. They're assholes, but that tracks. I do not think this is lore breaking outside of beta canon. It's probably destroying some beta canon. It's probably destroying some comic book stories. It's probably destroying some novel stories, but these Orions, they're dicks, and it tracks with everything else. And of course, like every bad guy species, they have green energy instead of the amber or blue energy of the Federation.
Kal-El
the
says that he
Federation.
really wishes they had a scene where Archer walks into sickbay and catches Phlox shooting hoops.
Now everybody wants that, right? That's
Yeah.
going to be the when we do when we do the reunion show Star Trek United, we'll see Phlox and Archer shooting hoops as old men trying to stay in shape. It's like there was a game in ancient Earth called basketball. They had a great coach named Chauncey Billups. I mean, Patrick Ewing. By the way, guys, you didn't hear it here first, but look for Chauncey Billups to say there ain't no such thing as the mafia real soon.
Oh yes.
And you know what? I've just got a signal from the planet. Let me see if we can fully lock on. I'm gonna wait and see. Make sure we have the pattern buffer fully engaged because we don't want to beam anyone on without their sound. We're looking at the planet. We're monitoring comms to see if we.
You should try
are
a
ready to
skeletal
beam
lock.
up.
I hear that can help you get through EM interference.
You asshole.
Oh, some of the crew's a little
Wow.
insubordinate tonight.
Wow.
But you know what? We got a warning coming in. What is this?
Admiral Teague, please stop using copyrighted material.
It's Sean. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We're having a fun show and we're having a good time. Hopefully, a lot of people will enjoy it later because, wow, everybody seems to be out tonight. But it was sort of expected. We knew that this was kind of like 3, like, sort of holidays, like, in a row. I really thought that this one would be the more engaged weekend, but it looks like it was flipped. Like, more people were around last weekend than this weekend. But welcome to the show. We're discussing the episode Borderland. It's the return of Brent Spiner to Star Trek. Did you know that he was from Texas, born and from the age of 6 to 20, he was known as Brent J. Mins?
I think I remember hearing him say something about that.
So weird. What, did his mother get divorced and remarried and that didn't work out and he ditched the adopted father's name?
Oh, I didn't know that too. I just remember seeing him on some
speculating.
panel. Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, I think it was near the Houston area or something, if I remember."
Because I was like, Spiner isn't a very logical career advancing name. It's not like his name is like Brent Armstrong or something. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound very Hollywood.
Yeah, is it Spiner or Spinner?
That's the other thing is he has passion about the pronunciation. He used to say, look, well, it's actually Spinner. And then at a certain point, he's like, you know what? I love the fans and they're used to calling me Spiner. So you know what? It is Spinner, but I don't care. It's both. It's both. I don't care. The thing is, until he signs a new Trek contract, he's not obligated to attack us like Robert Picardo.
Oh yeah, that stuff is weird. Very
yeah.
Robert Picardo is kind of
fine until he signed that contract.
Yeah, Picardo's sometimes can be a little annoying, but he's not an insufferable jerk like Tim.
He's not Tim Russ. No one is Tim
I mean,
Russ. Mark
no.
Hamill is the only one I can think of.
Yeah. I mean, Picardo
Hamill
doesn't
is
hide where he stands, but most of his things are well-meaning and good-natured posts about normal stuff.
Well,
when he gets something wrong, he apologizes for being acerbic. And I've talked to Picardo where I said, why would you keep saying these things if knowing you upset people? And he's like, I feel like I have a right to the freedom of speech to express it. And I'm like, fair enough, but it doesn't seem like you're using all your skills to like rally people to like even so much as consider your point of view here. And, I've long admired you. You're a great communicator. This doesn't seem to be working, sir.
Yeah. No,
only Armin Shimmerman had the best engagement with me about your ex, where I was just like, I don't know if you're going to change anyone's minds. He goes, you know what, I might not, but I'm not going to go crazy on anyone either. And I'm like, well, that's fair enough. And he's like, yeah, how are you doing? Yeah, and he was friendly. He was like, I just feel this way. And like, by the way, Armin Shimmerman, what is it, like maybe once every 3 or 4 months we hear that he did tweet politically. He like keeps up a normal amount of normal tweets where it's just like, yep, gonna go with the goatee this week or something, where he's just a normal human being. Tim Russ seems to be just a political animal with a need to dispense vitriol at all times. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
Well, but you said he was kind of like Mark Hamill, and I think you're pretty on point with that. But the key difference being, if Mark Hamill wants to go on Dancing with the Stars, they would know who he is.
That is
Tim Russ,
true.
nobody knows.
Did he go? Did one of them go on Dancing with the Stars?
Tim Russ tried, I thought.
Tim Russ
Did
tried
he?
to,
Did
yeah.
he just like he bomb out on the first episode, or did he not even make it that far?
I think
I don't know,
he was
but-
too unknown.
Wasn't he talk? Oh, one. Yeah, that's true. You're not a star. He was turned down for The Apprentice for the same reason. No one knows who
Yeah.
he is.
He
What I
should have. He
think
should
is-
have like danced with an Afro pick as his audition.
I think what would have been even funnier is if he had danced that Afro pick during the Kurtzman Trek Star Trek parking lot Gonzo embarrass the franchise promotion. I think he was like, "Give me money or I'll do it." And they're like, "We're not giving you any money." He's like, "If you give me this much money, I'll rent a room and do it. If you give me this much money, won't do it at all." And they're like, "Fuck you!" And he's like, "All right, fine, I'll do it for $3,000 because that was a $3,000 effort. It looked like shit. It looked like shit what he put on in that parking lot." I felt a little bit bad for those actors. At the same time, singing and dancing is fun, and they got paid for it.
Yeah, around the puke stains. You know, they don't step. There's a loogie there on the ground. Dance around it.
You know what? To be fair, that was a little bit dangerous because it's like hot asphalt, concrete. I don't know if a dance floor is any more forgiving, but he did. They were grabbing those women by like their hands and like they had their like their like ankles wrapped around the guy's waist, and they were spinning them with their heads extended out, so they could have gotten hurt if there was any mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against the dance troupe that did the Kurtzman Trek thing. More power to you. You had to figure out how to make that look like something. You know what?
Yeah.
The person who had to figure out how to interpret that is probably pretty good. It's underappreciated, which just shows. Did you know that in that very hard to train for field that's vigorous and very physically demanding, it's an average of 90 interviews for one job?
Ugh.
With a whopping
Ouch.
300 to 1 rejection ratio. In other words, there are 300 candidates per job qualified for this very narrow skill set. Yeah.
Wow.
It does make you feel a little bit bad for the singing, dancing people of the world. It's like you got the Emmys and there's like 80 dancers for that. And you got the Tonys and there's like another 80 dancers for that. And then there's like 6 dancers with a stable lifestyle who work for Dancing with the Stars. And that's it. It's like, you know what, computer, give all the dancers of this world economic stability.
Unable to comply?
You know what? Some things just aren't possible even with technology. And hey, people, you all showed up. Let us catch you up to what's going on. Brent Spiner has returned as his own character, as in Doctor Soong's ancestor, who is not a roboticist or whatever we want to call it, a duotronic brain android construction specialist. He is a geneticist. And he is obsessed with the frozen embryos of the Khan-like race. Now, we are enormously blessed that this is still old Star Trek. A lot of people have a problem with this form of Star Trek and say, it's not really Star Trek, to which I say, is anybody missing the forced discussion about choice that this would have brought on in modern Star Trek, where they would have just gone on and on and on about these frozen fetal augments, and they would have accidentally gone into Yahtzee territory by mistake. We go into Yahtzee territory in this episode, and we go there purposefully because we're showing that the augments are a perversion. And I think we do get that across relatively well in this episode, which features, I thought, a good performance by Brent Spiner. But I said this to JT and Jerem earlier. I'd love to get your thought on it, Sean. Do you think Brent Spiner's a good enough actor for this one? And if you do you believe that this is his absolute dramatic ceiling?
For Archer?
No. Do you believe Brent Spiner playing this
Oh,
variant of Doctor Soong ancestor. This Doctor Soong ancestor, this other world, bizarro world, mirror universe, whatever you want to call it. It's just, he looks exactly like his own descendant. Okay, we've done that a million times in TV and all that stuff. We have mirror people in Star Trek. We have the mirror people in It's a Wonderful Life. But you know what? Like, this Soong ancestor is a geneticist and a genius. That's fine too. That didn't bother me. I felt like Brent Spiner's acting was good enough for this one, but this is his absolute ceiling because he's not giving us lore. He's giving us a distinct new villain. He's not giving us Data in the least. And everything we get from him in New Trek is inaugurable shit. Do you think it is too? You think it's just doing lore?
Yeah. I think he did the
without
best he
the
could
facial
with material.
tics.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to be lore. I think he was just trying to be the character. I mean, he pulled it off okay.
Does a different voice, in my opinion, than Data.
Yeah, he does what he could. I mean, he did fine. I don't fault him at all for it. But gosh darn, I had a point. Gosh darn it. Yeah, no, I think his acting was fine in it, but
can I finish, please?
Yeah,
That's the
he did
hippocampus
just
saying
fine. He did just fine with that material. It's clearly they wrote it for him. But you know, I don't think it's the pinnacle. I think his best performance was as the actual Doctor Soong. I think that showed his best range when he actually played.
We never
guy.
saw like a video of real young Soong. So we only saw him old in the crazy putty face makeup, but Brent Spiner, that's kind of his thing. I did think he managed to affectate character B, because what we had with Data was character 1, with Soong was character 1A, and Lore was character 1B. They were all hived off the same characters. Like, yep, I put my own memory engrams into you, Data. Lore, you're a lot like me, except I didn't give you my very loose ethics. You're even worse. I probably shouldn't have read Mein Kampf to you as a child, Lore. You know, she totally fucks up Lore.
Why does a painter paint? Why does a sculptor sculpt? Why? Why? Why
does a man climb Everest and fall off Denali, Archer? I think that's going to become channel lore. But I thought that it might be lore without the facial twitching. You know what might bring the Soong thing into focus more for you is that we have, with Brent Spiner, they're calling him father, as Data and Lore did to Soong. So that might have been a little too close. They shouldn't have recycled that. Like, maybe they should have called them Vater, like in the German version of father, right? I mean, because we're going right there. They're acting like Yahtzees. They are Yahtzees. They're genetic supremacists. And we've
don't you like
back.
how Phlox justifies, like, hey, don't they do genetic alteration on your planet? And Phlox like, well, not as
we're
bad
not
as
humans. It's not immoral.
Yeah, it's like, well, we do it, but it's not in the bad way.
You don't do it to improve your species. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. And Brent Spiner, definitely. I do buy the malevolence. Anybody? Because we've seen cartoonish Brent Spiner now. Here's the thing. He's 22 years younger than the old like mess of a man that is at odds with himself, speaking self-contradicting dialogue knowingly, and looking quite embarrassed in Picard, to be honest with you. And looking embarrassed, especially in season 1, when he's like, I'm going to turn on my genocide machine. You know what? I'll turn it off. Picard, go to your room. Okay. The whole thing was fucking weird.
Yeah. But I kind of like the character there. He's not evil. I do like that. I mean, he does pull that off really well in this.
He's not totally evil.
Yeah,
he's that
really
morally gray, that Enterprise likes.
Yeah, I don't know if we've gotten to the scene yet where they're in the cold station. Are we there yet or no?
We haven't
Oh,
gotten
no,
to Cold
no. Okay.
Station.
Okay,
Oh,
because
sir,
that's
thank you
the
for
scene
those
where
for that chat, sir. JT, thank you.
Yes.
I think Sean, you might want to look at that too.
young Soong and TNG where Data was. Oh, that's right. Yeah, in the dream. Yeah, I
Oh,
remember the
but how
Raven.
young?
That Raven was.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Shit.
Yep.
Dead man proving his salt. You were a great pick to speak for fans on the season 3 retrospective. It was great having you on. And all right, so whatever. Soong is he's in the brig where he belongs, at least for once. And then we rejoin Malik, and I forget this chick's name, but you know what? I found her kind of tomboy hot. And they didn't ugly up the actress. They let what she had kind of shine through. She's pretty natural. She kind of looks like an MMA chick, but she's hot. And I thought she had some charisma. I thought all the augments had pretty good charisma and were decent actors considering how many stunts they did. Because there's not a lot of cutaways. There's good stunt work and fight work in this whole episode.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you think of this augment lady in
I
this
think she's
whole
hot.
thing?
I
Yes.
think she's really hot. I think she's got a great figure. I think she looks like I think that because we know what she is, the presence she has, because she can, like the fact that she walks around like she can beat up a guy doesn't bother me.
Uh-huh.
Like
She
this is a
kinda
different
reminds
energy
me of,
from Una.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me of the girl from Lost. I forget the actress's name, but she has that look about her.
The one who was in The Hobbit, Evangeline
I think
Lilly.
so. They called her Freckles.
Evangeline Lilly, I think is her name. I could be wrong.
Let me look.
She was the one who dated the really big guy, right?
Kate Austin. That's her name. She kind of looks like Kate Austin.
Okay. She is really gorgeous. I thought she had a really cool, hot tomboy look. I also thought this showed the augments. Like, there are other augment chicks, but he wants this one because it's the other guy's woman. He wants everything that's his, like a mirror universe captain.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's very Empress Hoshi in a lot of ways. Like she just like I can picture her wanting to take over if the opportunity presented itself.
She is very, very smart, and she does play them against each other well.
But also that ambition and that ruthlessness, I don't think I'd want anything to do with her. Like, just too much danger.
You just tell her, look, tomorrow I have to go to my family's around noon. I gotta get out of the house by like 11.
She'd hit you because she wanted
Oh,
to.
you mean yeah, which is the hottest thing ever. That's some unwritten show lore there, folks. You had to really be paying attention a long time back to know what that one's about, if it was even on the air. But
I don't think
what
it was.
happens? The Orions grab a bunch of people off the ship, as Orions tend to do. These Orions, hey, Mr. Wes Cagle is here. Hello, it's good to see you, sir. Penn State is not doing so well this year. You know, when I went to family Thanksgiving, my cousin told me, sir, I went to Happy Valley to see Penn State play, sir. And I looked at my niece, and she just gave me this look like this. I'm like, you're going to go to Penn State? She's like, oh, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what do you want to do? She's like, maybe like, sports marketing. I'm like, what do you mean, like in front of the camera? So I don't know what they're thinking, but like she did work. Like if she works going to Notre Dame out of like my cousin, like more power to my niece. Way to go. But JT, did you have money on Penn State?
No, it's just that they played Rutgers today. And Rutgers is in the
Scarlet
People's
Knights.
Republic of New Jersey. Yes.
That's right.
So, but Wes Cagle is a Penn State fan.
The thing is that Rutgers is a good football and basketball team most years. All right. So going on with the episode, this crewman he's scared of the Orions and he's crying.
Oh yeah, this absolute
By the
wuss.
way, when I recalled that series, I was on with the British people earlier talking Red Dwarf. When I recalled this show, this particular episode of this show, I thought that this was from season 1 because we have first-time outers who are talking in fear about being out there for the first time, and T'Pol is way cool and like way veteran. It's like, this is my second alien kidnapping. Don't worry, it'll be fine. And
I just have to laugh.
It really is cool.
They threw straw in these
I
cages.
know. I was just noticing that. Yeah. What was the point of that one? It's space straw.
They
JT.
converted a Texas Roadhouse restaurant and filmed it in there. If you look, there's peanut shells as well.
They got a great actor for this role. He was perfect. I'm surprised we don't recognize him outright. They had a few people that good. This performance by the scared ensign who wanted to sign on to the Enterprise for adventure, being reassured by T'Pol, I thought it was pretty good. I liked his performance, and I thought he sold the fear. And this cage is just rebar put together and cut up, but it looks brutal enough. I believe that these people are bad people who would keep you as an unwilling worker. What do you guys think of this scene here in the unwilling worker market, where they have the restraining bolts, the human restraining bolts?
Yeah, it reminded me of that practice that still goes on in West Africa today. So,
you mean dollar shave clubbery?
Yes.
Shavery.
Yes. And
Shavery Brooks.
My only thing is, I thought maybe he would have been too green to be posted to the Enterprise.
Veggie Lily is in Lost, Ant-Man, and not Lord of the Rings, but The Hobbit.
Like, unless this guy is some kind of Barclay level genius, I don't know that she'd put somebody that green on the flagship, especially because it's like your only tool in the drawer right now. Deal with stuff. That stretched it a little bit. It was a good thing though when she's like, "Ensign, I don't even know your name. What is it?"
Because he didn't want to tell anyone his real last name was Forrest, and someone pulled some strings. He's a Nepo hire. That's why he's so scared. It's Ensign It's Admiral Forrest's nephew.
He's one of Simon Parsons' ancestors.
They renamed him.
He's gonna be the Romulan chick.
They renamed him Wald or Wald, which is forest in German, so that way nobody would know.
JT, I love the logic. It's good to see everybody. So anyway, a good frightened acting. He's like, I'm pissed scared, sirs. And then we put a little restraining bolt on soon, don't we?
Yep.
I put a hand grenade in your brain soon.
Phlox wearing something different again.
How cool would it have been if Phlox had SETI eels? It's like these have the tendency to wrap around the cerebral cortex. He will be more subjective for a few hours. He'll be quite pleasant, I believe, in about 20 minutes, sir. But first, he's going to fall to the floor and scream. I would stand back if I were you. It's like, ah! Right? I mean, Dr. Phlox would love to give him a SETI eel.
Yeah.
Just hand him over to Melicon.
I would always have 4 Makos with weapons trained right on Soong. I don't like his ass. And I would tell 3 of them to have it on stun, and one that's like, you have authorization to kill him if the stun doesn't bring him down, because he could pull off anything. This guy's a real dick. Let them fire first. Just stay back a few strides. He's a real dick. But I'll also say this. I like his costume, although... Does anyone else think they gave him the red shirt to evoke Data and the Next Generation and his uniform, and that they probably shouldn't have? No, really.
No. To me, that's reading a bit into it. But anyway,
okay.
It's I don't think they
send Doctor Soong off. You know what? Eat some straw, coward boy. The people in the free labor, the people at the day labor place. So here we are behind Space Home Depot. And everybody,
Oh, jeez.
here we are behind Space Home Depot.
You go to Space Lowe's, you don't see that much.
It's Space Lowe's. They're a lot stricter, but you know what? It's here we are behind Space Home Depot, and they're not sending their best. We need a Dyson sphere, but this is the unwilling labor market still, and we have a couple more scenes there where we see some of the other people who
kind of looks like Hoshi
She's
a little
hot.
bit.
Yeah,
Kind of looks like
hot.
Hoshi a bit.
I thought it was for a second.
I thought it was too, but I think she's a guardian. I don't think she's
Think so.
I don't think she's Asian. I think she's a guardian.
Okay.
Look at her nose.
That could be her stand-in. They maybe they give her stand-in.
They
You're
could
right,
have
it
rewarded Hoshi stand-in with a role. Yeah, and she's a perfect height weight match.
Yeah.
Perfect hair match too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was
let's
the
give
only
her
one
some
that had to
screen
do a
time.
double take for a second with this one to make sure it wasn't Hoshi.
No, I did a double take, but this actress had a line, so we knew right away it wasn't her. Ah, the dead man.
Oh, the
Thank
Elkhart
you.
system here is.
I think DePaul leads by example in this episode. She's embracing human behaviors versus Spock, who would be less caring. You're absolutely right. DePaul's journey very, very wisely goes the other way. But the thing is, they origin her better. DePaul is twice as old as Spock, if not 3 times as old, like 2.5 times as old as Spock. Spock is only about 30. DePaul is 66. And she has always been more warrior monk kind of way of getting her thing on. And also, she's a pre-Cyrenite Vulcan, which is going to be a really big thing too. But I don't know about you guys, but you know what? And thank you so much, the Dead Man. This is a very, very generous super chat. $4.99 American dollars. It's our last broadcast of the month, so I really appreciate it. And maybe tomorrow I'll come on for a while and try to do some kind of subscriber get together later in the afternoon so that people have time in America. It's like the end of a weekend, and we can all hang out together. We'll do it like we did the last time. Get it in before the end of the month, and we can think about what to do in December next. But you know what? DePaul always had a journey from, and remember, she's not half human. She gets contaminated with something that introduces emotion into her mind against her will. And then that leads her to pursue emotions with the Trillium, which then also has, the same event, sort of has the parallel effect of having her pursue a relationship, which ends up being with Florida Man, the most emotional person on the ship. Although I would say this, as much as he does have emotions, Trip is big for simply expressing that this is my emotion, I have it. Well, let's move on.
Trip's
He's
like
by
the
no
McCoy
means a baby
of-
about his emotions.
Yeah, Trip's very close to McCoy in that way. But I just had a thought. You were talking about T'Pol. One thing I'm looking back on is I like how they made her mother kind of similar in that way. She was pretty sympathetic in the episode Home. Where
You weren't here for Home, but you know what? I realized. Remember when we were saying the mom was kind of hot?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's Zora from Blade Runner.
Really?
It's Joanna
You missed
Cassidy.
it. We did find the deleted scene where T'Pol's mom got stuck in the clothing unit, and Trip had to go and help her out. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he
you- I
drilled
mean,
a
do you
little
agree?
nasty hole in the wall to look at her.
Do you agree with that though? I mean, because the mom was pretty soft, not in a weak way, but like she was very kind of
Think she was-
understanding of Trip's emotions and cared about what her
herself-
daughter felt.
All right, here's the deal. I believe she herself had experienced emotions, and that these Vulcans are much more emotional than we understand. They are Vulcans, but not as we know them.
Well, yeah, she even has a line to that effect. She's like, we don't display our emotions, but we have them.
Well, here's the thing. Bird of Prey 5 and I had this discussion a bunch of times about like the Dead Sea Scroll, the Vulcan Dead Sea Scrolls and the stuff that we're going to find soon. And like one of the things that we said was, it seems that like these Vulcans, like, they say that they're logical, but their logic is still messed up. And we're gonna find the Cyrenite documents from. It's said that like they've botched the casting of every Vulcan except T'Pol and Saval and Saval. T'Pol and Saval are fine, but every other Vulcan, like they're like tripping. T'Pol's son is terrible casting, and Serac is going to be a terrible actor. But when they find the USB stick that Serac left behind with the other stuff, where he's like, mind melding, totally cool. Go forth and mind meld. All that stuff is going to come into play and change them to more like the TOS Vulcans. The only thing we would have to accept is that in about one lifetime, they completely change. And the thing is, there wouldn't have been non-Cyrenites holding out. I guess that there are, but we just don't see them, so it doesn't matter. Because why would they leave the planet? They become like the Amish or something?
There are lots of questions around that, especially given the long lifespan. I think you're right. And the general stubbornness of Vulcans.
But if you have 80 years, that's a hell of a long time to fight off. Like, a generation will come of age accepting the Cyrenite teachings, and they will probably start to win intellectual arguments against the older people sooner or later, and some of them, a third, will be won over. Because these Vulcans have like more than a little bit of Romulan in them. When we meet Robert Foxworth again, who we haven't seen since he plays an admiral in TNG, I don't think he's in DS9. He shows up, and he's like a really emotional Vulcan who yells. He just yells. He's like fired up and yelling. So we're going to get a lot of that coming our way. So thank you again, the Dead Man, for the super chat. It has set us off on a little bit of a side quest, but I believe a very worthy and Star Trek centered one. So thank you so much for enabling that conversation. This conversation brought to you by the Dead Man. All right, so we thought this actress was hot. We would all make sex on her. Anyway, what?
Just the wording.
On her?
We'd all make sex. We'd all make sex to her. It would be fun.
On. It doesn't matter.
I would make fuck with her. Okay, whatever, however you want to say it. Do you want to? All right, I'd make sweet fuck to her. She's all right. You know what? What? I'm from New York. Okay. I can't say. How do you people say it?
What do you mean, you people?
I mean, now you listen to me. I'm a 5% guardian, which is 900 times more than Elizabeth Warren. It actually really is. It's 1,000 times. She's a 0.5% guardian. I'm 5% guardian. You know what? I can't feel the fly ball. I can do every other baseball thing pretty well. I'm hitting, obviously. I'm a fucking pig. Anything can happen. But hey, anyway, yeah, you know what? Trip gets called a redneck by Soong.
Yeah, that really pissed me off.
I love that. It's not accurate because Florida people will not have a Southern accent well, I guess, yeah, by the time of this episode, Floridians will have a Southern accent. But right now, most people in Florida
they're going to have a lot more New York accents pretty soon.
I was going to say they have the accent of whatever state they fled.
Yeah.
And quite honestly,
I wanted him to be like, sir, my ancestors migrated Orlando in 2053 to work for Universal Studios.
My ancestors, I'm descended from a YouTuber named Admiral Teague. He moved to Orlando so that he could go to Disneyland in August and buck the trend and broadcast live, taking on some guy named WDW Pro, calling it fake news. I remember the year he went to Saudi Arabia, and it was a lot nicer than Disneyland in August.
If this show lasts 5 years, I only got second base with my sister.
WDW Pro, God love you, but check the weather report next time. It was nicer in Kuwait City than it was in Orlando when you said no one was in Florida, and also it was in line with 57 years of Disneyland and Florida State tourism stuff. You could have checked this, by the way, over that whole 2 months you did it. By the way, guys, soon, a rerun of August. February is the second lowest tourist month, so coming soon, the rerun of Disney's going out of business. They don't have huge piles of money from the decades of success. People, the money they piled up, a lot of it got invested. They're going to be able to make these mistakes for a long time. If you think about these Disney movies, this is the equivalent of them. Sean, JT, you know this. Yeah. Does Disney not field the equivalent of the payroll of the entire AFC East every year in failed movies and shake it off and do it again the next year? Am I right?
So far.
They field York. They field 6 teams as terrible as the New York Jets and pay that payroll every year. And it's the same shit, too. It's like in the preseason, it's great. And then you see it, it's like, oh, my God, it's a flaming wreck of bullshit. But Disney's going to be around a really long time doing terrible stuff and making mistakes. They have no need to self-correct yet. They haven't felt the pain, and they won't for a while. But mark my words, in February, we're going to hear Disneyland is empty again, and Admiral Teague is going to be cock of the walk, telling you I was right again, like I was when I said in 2024 that we would find out Kurtzman would be fired around New Year's of 2026. I have that. You can check the tweet with Doomcock. I'll retweet the exchange when it happens.
Is that Tachyon approved?
You know what? Hold on, Sean. It's funny you should say that.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
It's not yet, but you know what? Hold on. Now it is. I've got my Adidas jacket on. Now I can say wildly untrue things as long as I've got my Adidas jacket on. Sean, did you know that Stargate, UFO, Space 1999, Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, and Lost in Space are all being rebooted tomorrow? It's very, very controversial, sir. Sir, it's very controversial, sir. Tachyon Pulse, get real. You have to give us some indication where this is coming from. You don't have to dox your sources, but what's the chain of information? You just go on there and everything is jaw-dropping and spectacular. Space 1999 coming back with a hybrid of both casts with multiverse. So just shut the fuck up until you can tell us how some of this is coming from. And I love the jacket. Keep the jacket. Anybody ever want to talk to the Tachyon Pulse since we're doing it?
You said it.
Everyone else, when you hear Star Trek news, if the source is the Tachyon Pulse, it's echo chamber bullshit that this guy made up. He sits in his mom's basement in front of a dusty model of the Enterprise D using his slacker socialism to put forward these myths about Star Trek that people then re-report. Why people re-report
it gets washed in circles, somehow becomes a legit rumor based on just one person saying something out of their ass.
I'm not naming names, but track your Star Trek stories. And when people, some people that we even respect, have cited the Tachyon Pulse as being the source of their story, it's just Sean, is a Tachyon Pulse full of shit? Would you buy a car from the Tachyon Pulse?
No.
Fuck no. I might not even buy a used video game from him. Fun fact, the Disney company would have to leave Earth, flee to the Delta Quadrant, and become the Dominion by the 24th century. Would eventually leave Earth and become the Dominion by the 24th century in the Star Trek universe. The Dominion were fun. The Dominion had drugs. The Dominion had Iggy Pop. Disney would never be that fun. Disney would never be. They would have an all-male race of completely aggressive, Herosian, beta-tested sort of like Jemadar. I believe that the Jemadar are something that New Trek just loved making that female they them Hadar.
Oh God.
The one we may never see, by the way.
We still predict that Star Trek Academy and Star Trek Academy will either not be seen or truncated into a 2-part movie or something like that. And that Strange New World season 4, 5 and 6, which is nonsense. It's season 4.5, cut in half. we're thinking like a one-off movie. They'll lose.
Well, I've
We
been
don't
saying
think there's
the
enough
only
of it
way we'll
made.
see any of it is the way that maximizes a write-off for the new Skydance company.
I think they might
Will be
burn
the
it before we see it.
only
It's
way,
going to be that
yeah.
bad.
It-
Sirs
it-
and
I don't
madams,
think
it's going to be
I don't think
terrible.
we're going to see Academy.
I hope not. There's a lot of rumors. By the way, this is true, by the way. Tachyon Pulse, between their Space 1999 and what did they say was getting rebooted for sure? Judge Dredd and their Alien Earth stuff. They managed to say that we're getting that too. So they've signed off on it. But hey, back to Star Trek. Archer and Soong are on Epstein's pleasure planet. I'm sorry, Stein Epps' pleasure planet. And we see the Big Show, who was a wrestler back in the day, and his species has 8 nipples all on his head. What are you going to do? Can I finish? He looks like a human walking COVID strain.
Oh, jeez. I mean, these people do look rough, though. I mean, they do a great job with all the makeup on all those actors and getting the lighting just right. And you really
Orions
do
or the
believe
Augments?
that the Orions and all the people in the
She
donkey
looks good.
pens. Yeah. Oh yes. This part was great. And I love that they made up numbers, like a whole number script just for this scene.
It's not illogical. It doesn't look like it looks like someone sat down there and just came up with 1 through 0 through 9.
Well, and then they also wrote some like computer code and had it animate up like this. That was a very good way of
These may be
not
cut out
having
of like
people
plastic.
shouting out.
Who knows?
Like these people weren't shouting out in the crowd on the bids.
Oh,
It was all done like on these pads. It was a really slick way of doing it. So that way, they could hold this auction of Antiques Roadshow.
Radioactive is advocating for Kurtzman Trek here. Very controversial, sir. He says, what? Say it isn't so. We need St. Hogwarts Academy of Transportorier and Warpcraft. Yeah, and they'll have 3 different kinds of bathrooms at Transwarts Academy. What can I tell you? You know what? I gotta thank you. I think you've earned for that one. I think we need Spock's conversion to our ranks. Here it is. We hacked the camera in his quarters. It's Spock becoming one of us. Here you go, Spock. One of us.
That was so controversial. Sir.
Sir. What do you think, guys? When Spock watched the illegal Admiral Teague broadcasts in his cabin, after he decided it was logical to join with Admiral Teague and become a member of the Admiral Teague community, when McCoy walks in, do you think he was like, Doctor, I think you'll find this quite interesting? Or he was like, let me just turn this off. Hold on, Doctor. Like, what do you think? Or was McCoy the one who turned him on? He's like, Spock, I think I have something that'll get in touch with your human side real quick. This guy's more human than the rest of us. Very angry. And has what we call perpetual rage. Apparently, it's a real disorder my ex-wife claimed to have.
Oh no!
Oh,
Sure.
sir!
Sure.
Oh, sir! Sir,
How dare you? Sir, that was so controversial. Sir.
Oh, right. George, what do you think, George?
Stylistically designed to be that way, and you can't undo that, but we can diminish the effects of it.
Let's see about that. I don't know. Well, we're going to find out. But This chick for sale, her goods on the market. I would find a way to borrow some latinum. Just saying. Anyone else?
This was the part. Well, most definitely.
Anyone else going to get a short-term loan? Is there a Quarks around here?
This felt very TNG.
Yes,
I
the set's
felt
very
like
TNG.
The set felt like TNG.
It also felt like I've seen it before on this show, like twice.
Yeah, but I guess the point that I was trying to get to in the opener here, Admiral, a couple hours ago was I really liked this story because it felt like a TNG story at its heart, but we also would have probably gotten this type of a scene in a later 3 seasons of TNG when they were going on all cylinders. And I think you would have seen Riker or Data or somebody, right, doing the role that Archer was doing, or maybe Picard. I don't really know which one of the crew would be attempting it, but it definitely feels like that kind of a caper or adventure that they're having.
It does,
and it does.
They're space
it's
cops.
Intangible, but yes. And I love TNG.
On the final
so
frontier, crimes against the fandom are investigated by Archer and DePaul.
Also, you would have never been able to show this in a million years with what they had her dressed in. So,
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to spurt out laughter. I was reading.
You know what? That's why Riker would be my number one as well in that world. I think Picard chose well, and it was like, I could just see them like just picture the two of them like sitting at a table, and you cut across, and it's actually like a space pimp with like a cane and like a fur coat, and he's like, "You are excellent tactician, Captain. You sit back and look for weakness while your second in command negotiates. Shut up. How much latinum for the women? All 6 of them." You know? Like, I don't know. Like, very controversial. But here we are back with the Augments, and Malik is he doesn't dig that Rakim is in charge, and he digs Space Chick. And so do I. Space Chick is pretty hot. I thought that all the Augments were good actors, and it made for good TV that I don't think there was much cutting in the fights. I think that these are just stunt people who could act.
Yeah.
They did a lot of the fighting themselves from what I could tell. We seem to make a point of showing their faces when they fought, and when they fight, it's good. So I did like seeing the stunt work in this whole episode. I thought that they made up for their lack of budget with some real good, quote, action. Anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. The action was A1 this whole time.
So
I did like how they just ripped the Klingons apart. That was pretty cool.
They shredded the Klingons early in the episode. And then ejected them into space. They airlocked the survivors. What a bunch of monsters these Augments are. But right now, as I look here, I'm seeing it's just kind of funny. Like, he's not commanding much money. Like, if DePaul was up there, like, all these slots would be maxed out with bids. Like, he's got, like, one little digit here.
I love that Orion's
interest.
Like, when the Orion threatens to sell him for food.
As food, exactly.
Or as food, yeah. They'll sell you as food. And he goes, that's not even barely enough to cover the administrative costs or something.
Yeah.
And here's his restraining bolt. He's had that on for a while. Are they fine tuning it to his master, or are they pulling it off?
They rescued him. They're pulling this off.
This is post rescue.
Yeah. This is post rescue.
Darn it! He
should not have survived. That guy was too much of a puss.
It also, you know what? Like, think of all the things he missed out on here. Ooh. He had job security.
Wait, go back a frame. That's a good shot.
She has nice space pillows. They're very nice.
Are those holes cut to show a little more skin there? Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, remember when we used to take our pretty actress and let her be pretty and try to make her prettier? Wow, what a concept, huh?
You know what this reminds me of? I was watching before I came on before my mom went to bed. We were watching Seinfeld, and it was the episode where Elaine's nipple was showing in the Christmas card.
Oh yeah,
that's nipple.
And like to have an early enough internet for it to be on AOL or something is one of the jokes, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, like she sent it to 400 people.
Yeah,
and her nephew, the aunt couldn't find it. She goes, "Well, look under his mattress."
Oh no!
And away.
Oh, gee.
I would not want to see those. She's ugly. I said it.
She you know what? She managed to look exactly the same from then till now, though. In Thunderbags, she looks like exactly the same. Like she hasn't aged. She's frozen at like 47 or something.
Wasn't she in the Marvel movie recently?
Yeah, I saw the movie and like she's like 65.
Thunderbags. Oh, okay, that's
5. And she looks exactly the same as she did in Christmas Vacation. She's been playing the same character successfully for like literally 40 years. It's crazy. She just puts like more money into plastic surgery. Her face is frozen, it doesn't move. And she's like, they have to fix that character who talks like a primary school teacher, but whatever. Anyway, as we proceed, our augments, our Starfleet personnel, we'll sell you to the Ranker Keeper for food. We've got a temporary job market, and we enact a plan where we're going to bring Soong down there to help with this rescue operation. At the same time, there's a bit of a coup, just a little bit of a coup on the Augment ship, and Malik and Rakeem coming to loggerheads over the chick at the same time that she's kind of stabbing him in the back, because with increased augmenticity comes increased horniness, and she just can't get enough, so she digs this guy and he digs her. There are other female augments. I don't know why he has to like dust off his buddy for his chick, but whatever.
We're coming up to one of my favorite scenes in this one. Yeah, we're coming up to one of my favorite scenes when Soong tries to escape.
We have pandemonium. We have pandemonium at the temp labor market.
With the lighting on the outside, it's an interesting choice that they did for that.
Making the most with what little they had with props, because you could do that with just the most minimal stuff.
Looks like they stacked pallets or something back there. Something just like that.
Just rolled in some shelving or something, yeah.
So we have our.
It and you're good.
There's some pandemonium on the station. There's some action. Phase pistols come out, and Soong gets away. And he knows from there basically telling him that his pals, the Augments, are here. That's why they brought him along. He's there to like talk sense to the Augments. Meanwhile, like they got him from like psycho prison. So like why they thought this would work out, I don't know. Hey, guess what? He finds the Augments and they consider him like a father figure. And like, there's like loyalty right away. But back on the NX-01, they managed to throw him in space jail, and Archer plays space cop, and it's space law and order, and he has a few things to say to Spinner. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you go back? There was that one scene where Archer, is Soong's climbing that building right here, and Archer just magnetizes his handcuffs. Or he demagnetizes him and he falls. I thought that was a cool, clever little thing that Archer did.
We do that to him twice with his handcuffs. We unbind them. He has these 22nd century handcuffs are pretty cool. What happens is you turn them off. You can just put your hands down at your sides. You turn them on. You immediately they get like your hands get pulled together. Mm-hmm. You have to join your hands together. Or, whatever. It's an irresistible force thing. It's just like you have no choice. So they're like smart cuffs. I thought it was kind of cool. It's like, I trust him enough to like sort of not cuff him. So yeah, in his escape attempt, it's a bit abortive. He does get a couple of stray words across to his augment buddies at this point, I'm pretty sure. And then he and Archer have a little talk in the brig of the NX-01 where if he's like Lore at any point in the episode, he's most like Lore here, I guess. He's preening.
Yeah.
Which is the thing is, he's been forced to preen as Lore in like 7 or 8 very memorable Next Generation episodes. And how many different evil villain characters can one guy generate? Now, granted, it's at the time. There is some nuance to Soong that Lore doesn't have. And also does a great job of acting like someone who doesn't have super strength. You can feel the lack of super strength. No, I'm kidding. I mean, what are you going to do? But it's, like we said, this is still good enough. He's not bad at all.
No, he does fine.
But he is this would probably be his dramatic ceiling. This is about as much as we can do. And he has been terrible since then. I don't think anyone here has really enjoyed his performances as the other Soong descendants is in Picard. So here he talks to him, why did you, why, how come, why are you doing this? These people are Napoleons and Hilters. They're all out of their minds. They have like increased ambition. They're highly dangerous, sir. This is like, very, very controversial that you would do this. Why would you do something so very controversial? And he's like,
he just replies, life finds a way.
Yeah, to which Archer says, that's a lot of shit. He did it because he didn't not do it. He didn't have the greatest reason, but it was his field, so he's obsessed with the augments. I guess
did it. He said, "Why? Because I can." I think that was the clip, right? That was what he said in prison.
Because I can.
He did say something like that, or very close to it in Space Jail. But as we round out the episode here, the Augments and Soong are clearly going to conspire together. The Augments want to get their father back. They want to try to get the Augments off this ship, bring them back to Earth, convince them to basically just be reasonable. And Augment's going to augment. They're like, F you, and we have a little bit of a confrontation and just a little bit of a disagreement. Meanwhile, on the Augment ship, we go full-blown coup.
Yeah, she's about to enable her super strength Kegels.
Yes.
Not to be confused with a West Kegel.
No.
Although it might be a South Kegel.
As we all know, Kegel lies by the riverside. Just throws that Mako right up against the wall. And then they get over here and they free their buddy, Dad. And they're legitimately glad to see him.
Well,
this is the thing that was smart. The Augments have some personality.
There was a super awesome Klingon bird of prey versus the Orions fight scene in space.
Yes.
It's a really great. Yep. Oh, yep. There you go. There was a space battle.
Let's see how intercut
really,
it is.
really cool. And
I remember when we first saw it. I don't know.
The highlight of the episode for me was
probably
actually
pretty quick, but maybe we can watch.
I was a little disappointed
that bird of prey shooting. Okay.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed they didn't change the. The battle was fine, but the model of the ship they didn't. It looks the same as in TNG. Like the Klingons haven't changed it.
They added more guns and stuff to the outside, and
the
ship
a
is
couple
quite
little
small.
things?
Yeah, and the
That's
ship
true.
is quite small, and it's great to see the scale next to the NX-01. And this ship is really like 4 decks and maybe like 12 people, and this tiny
a dozen
bird prey.
officers and men, as Sulu would say.
Yes.
Now, is
They
that a
lived up
dozen
to
officers and a dozen men, or a dozen total?
Oh, Sulu knew exactly how many men there was. Like, it's raining 9 men, sir.
I've
comment.
replaced the Klingon butt plugs. I mean, food packs.
I've got a new. Never mind.
Oh, okay. It is a little different. They got that little impulse thing on the top.
Yep.
Okay.
And also, and
There's
like a little more.
mounted disruptors that you can't really see here unless you.
It's bristling with a whole lot more slightly less impressive weapons. When it fires those blaster bolts off its wingtips and stuff like that, they don't look that powerful. It doesn't look that tough as compared to like what we see in the TNG redo. It does look a little bit less powerful. There was some effort put into making it not look too overwhelming, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, we have a super chat that came in.
Do we? Oh my gosh. Let me go to you know what? Oops, wrong video. Where is that video? That's the wrong one again. Damn it.
Yep, there's
Brain.
the good ones.
Oh, I see it. The little
right
guy.
there, yeah.
Okay, I retract my criticism.
The dead man. This man is not a hero. He's a criminal. That's right. Thank you so much. You know what? I have answered this question over and over. You know what? Can a man not be a hero and a criminal? I am a hero and a criminal both. For instance, my addiction to giving away copyrighted material. As we know, in front of the movie theater every week, I'm there with a USB stick saying, sir, take this copy of Pirates of the Caribbean with you, sir. It's a good movie. I've also loaded on Christie with Sydney Sweeney. It's not a very good Sydney Sweeney movie, sir, but you can delete it and there'll be more memory on the USB stick. But before you delete it, sir, you have to promise to give it away to other people. If you do, you'll find out that Star Trek the Motion Picture is also on there, sir. It's all copyrighted material, sir, as well as Blue Cove, a Disney direct-to-video movie about dolphins. I did it just to fuck with them. But luckily,
where the hell did that come from?
No idea.
Copyrighted material speech.
The Blue Cove thing.
Blue Cove.
When I took Amtrak to Disneyland, the movie The Blue Cove was playing. It was direct to video, and it had Bill Paxton in it as like a guy whose beautiful daughter, dolphin researcher, swam in a shallow pool in a cove with dolphins in a bikini the whole time. And then she met a handsome tourist boy that she like fell in love with, and he became a marine biologist to spend his life with her helping dolphins. It was really sweet. But this was what I watched on the train, and I just remember the chick was hot and she wore a bikini.
He was
the
just
whole time.
interested in her blowhole.
I was just watching her in her bikini, and she did have a very nice blowhole. It was when Botox was big. Anyway, here we have the Klingon ship seems to have some forward-firing weapons. Back to the topic of Star Trek. So it's got the wingtip weapons. It's got a lot of blasters. It's firing an array of weapons. And there, guys, in its full flight, we see the Orion ship taking off as the bird o' prey is homing in, and a little bit of action and adventure in the final frontier here. You can never get enough. We love the ships. We love the reinterpretation of the ships, and there you go. Like the engines are sort of like above the
It has an interesting shuttle bay location, the back of the ship, where it just kind of poops them out, I guess.
Yeah. It's trying to it can track other ships as they fly. It's like it's flying forward, but the weapons are obviously tracking the other ships. So that was pretty cool. We saw that. It told us a little bit about the capability of the ship. And then we got Mr. Reed now doing the job that we no longer trust Mr. Mayweather to do in handling responding technically and handling saying words, which are hard. And of course, the augments prevail. Here they are firing away. firing their weapons willy-nilly as augments will do. They don't care, and they, of course, destroy one Orion ship, and I think the other one gets away and warps out. But you know what? Damage done, whether they get both or one, not all that important, causing all sorts of space problems, those augments. Captain Archer, he's a little worried we haven't seen the last of the little face-to-face confrontation here. This augment grabs Archer as they are trying to rescue Soong, and Reed, and is it Reed and Ameko are facing him down, and they're like, let him go, and he's like, I have 5 times your strength.
It was.
Which means that he's as strong as T'Pol? Or he's
strong enough with your
20% stronger than T'Pol.
Strong enough in that, with your hands in that position to make sure that Fox.
Him versus T'Pol, who's your money on? They're equally smart, and she's got a lot of martial arts training, and she's within 15% of his strength, one way or the other. She might be stronger.
I think he can take more damage than she could.
That was what I said to Germ earlier. I think he could hang in there for more damage is the only difference. Although she would destroy the augment chick.
Oh yeah, but although
Yeah.
I do like that they maintain the 90s mullet.
Yeah. This was not a haircut that had totally gone out of style yet. People were trying to work the mullet into something usable, and it just didn't. You couldn't do nothing with it.
I see that all the time around here. This is like standard.
People just grab a pair of scissors and like cut some ear holes into their hair.
Yeah.
And we managed to get Doctor Soong out of here. These Makos are. You know what? No problem here. This isn't woke or nuts. This chick is a superhuman.
Yeah.
She's not a hero. She's a criminal. And they mess up these Makos, and they have actually kind of almost like touching reunion with Soong. And it's kind of nice.
Malik is full of shit on it, though. I mean, you can tell.
Well, yeah, he's like, where's Rakeem? And he's like, he slipped on tea, sir. He's like, slipped on tea. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll explain later. But Archer is just like,
hold the key.
Yeah. Archer is tonight we shall the ship into history. Archer's looking at Malik and Soong here, and Archer's default here is like, this was why we hate people like Soong. This is why Soong is a low-life criminal. This is why the augments should have been kept frozen and maybe destroyed at the end of the war. They are nothing but like the fuel of the devil's plan. He thinks that they're completely evil perversions. He doesn't quite think of them as human, and he has like he understands like that Brent Spiner's character cares about them, but like he thinks that that's a misplaced and perverse thing for any human to do. Is my guess on this one. I don't know.
I think he's only being nice to him because he's doesn't have full support from the rest of the augments. Still look up to him. Hey, are we going to talk about the absolute atrocious Dr. Pulaski episode from TNG where they have the station and they have like mega super duper augments that have telekinesis as well as all this stuff?
The ones who have the proactive virus that makes you sick and die if you get around them, that she has to that make
whole
untoxic.
Episode was like, we're genetically making the perfect person.
All those people had to go start their own space station because they were total space Yahtzees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That episode.
I'd like to forget about Dr. Pulaski if we can.
They're trying.
I love Pulaski. I just hated that episode.
In that episode, they're trying to give her moment to be really gallant, and she is, but the episode's just like these people aren't worth saving. I mean, well, the kids are worth saving, but these scientists aren't worthy. I want them in jail.
Right.
And of course, morally indolent and morally indigent Picard lets them go yet again. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Every time. And thank you so much to Dead Man. Guys, vote in the poll and try the veal and chat. Give me your Star Trek theories and ideas here. We're trying to build up to the big finish as we get down to the final half hour of the show. And we appreciate everyone hanging in with us.
Admiral, is we're only 1/3 of the way through the story, but we know from the interaction we have right now that Dr. Soong is full of himself, but also very self-centered. And he thinks that he can still control all of these augments because he's the one that brought them into being. And he is so much smarter than all the people that were around 100 years ago.
I feel he's borrowed from another villain from a different franchise, but finish your point, and I'll tell you who I think he
I was going to
reminds me
say
of.
this time, real genetic enhancement, this time real communism will be tried by me because I'm such a smart planning genius that I can handle these people that have no ability to be controlled. At least not by one person, right? And not even each other. And we know this going into the part 1 out of 3. And so you have a dread as a viewer of what is going to come in Act 2 and 3 or episode 2 and 3 of this arc because of just how well it's written, but also you can see that in the initial interaction and know that this is probably going to fall apart at some point because Dr. Soong's interests are to make Dr. Soong look great and to probably go back and get those other embryos that they mentioned in passing, right? And that ends up being the plan. These other augments, that's not their plan, if they even really have one.
I don't know if the other augments have much of a plan, but I do know this. This is the character he reminds me of from another franchise. I believe that right now he's Dr. Terrell, surrounded by his replicants that he thinks, will do what he says, but one of them is going to crush his head. Crush your head. I think it's that energy. It's like, my replicants are the best, because they're kind of not that different.
Just like Dr. Evil. We're not so different, you and I.
Yeah, right. And we have a good final closing act appropriate for episode 1. There's enough finality and closure in the episodic nature of this year for it to be fine. And I don't remember if there were next time on Star Trek for this. I don't know if they did that. I honestly really don't know if they did next time on Star Trek. But that brings to an end this episode of Star Trek Enterprise, which is part 1 of a 3-episode augment arc. I found it all to be interesting. I watched it through and I enjoyed it. And we got great new visuals for this season that we saw. And I guess we'll put up the best one, this one. This visual was great. We've seen them in this space dock before, but the ship is looking, I don't know, a little more spry and energized. And I only know this from watching the interview with the guy who designed the 3D model or whatever, who designed the CGI. The command cupola on top is asymmetrical on purpose. He wants us to see where Archer's office is. So that little node on the side is Archer's office.
Interesting.
But this was a great episode. It brought back emotions from Star Trek, the motion picture, and it was all in all a quality episode. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the time where we assess and give our grades. So hang out for Sean and JT's thoughts. I forgot to ask Jerem earlier, but he really needed to beam off quick. So let's start with Mr. Kirk. Why don't you go first? We will do it hot seat style, which means you, sir, go into the hot seat first. Go ahead.
All right.
Tell us your thoughts
there's so
on
much to love
Borderland.
about this. Yes, there's so much to love about this. The ship flying away scene, giving you the chance to reboot into a new adventure, was excellent. I thought the care for lighting and costuming and immersion was well done here. There was a lot of care being judicious with the resources they had to maximize the effect of everything. Having a new bridge set with the Klingons and all of this was not cheap, and hiring all these other actors on for a 3-part story, probably also not very cheap. And the way that they cast all of those actors and actresses and made them look like they're really on a Klingon vessel, all the new CGI work that had to be done for the Orion and the Klingon ship Just so much to love here. And I think we're going to get into some cool moral and ethical stuff that you just couldn't contain into an A and B story in 40 minutes plus commercials, which is why we're going to get three episodes worth of it. The one thing that I'll say is probably not to the benefit of the episode is bring back Brent Spiner for this. I think maybe they wanted to do it to try to get as many eyeballs in the ratings for season 4.
It kept me watching at the time. It kept me from just glancing away, because I remember after Stormfront, I was like, they fucked up again.
Right. And I don't blame them for trying to do this, really, because they knew they were really in danger here of not having a season 5. So if they can really get him in and things work well, he's not a member berry character like pretty much everything in P Hard season 3 was. But he didn't really benefit the story in a major way. Yes, he did have some great acting in a couple places, but you've already said, Admiral, he had a low ceiling on the type of acting that he can do. So I don't think that
not so much low as after 7 years, like we've seen every trick he had.
I don't
he
think
played crazy Data, evil Data, Data's father. You know what I mean?
I don't think he subtracted from the overall performance or episode with my grade. However, he did not help. It was a push, right? So to this,
he had the skill, but he didn't overall need to be there for this story to work.
Yep. And so to this, I will give it an A 94.20%.
Oddly specific, as our friend Critically Thinking and Drinking said to you during the week on your comment about Tim Russ. But okay, we'll let it go at that. Sean Carter, it is now your turn to opine on this episode of Star Trek Enterprise Borderland, the return of Brent Spiner to the franchise. After only 8 or 9 weeks after the fucking lackluster end of the movies. I mean, we didn't have a lot of time to miss him, was the one thing I would say about him coming back. I was like, really? That part did go through my mind, even though I didn't mind. I liked Brent Spiner. I thought he was going to be bigger than Star Trek. I thought he would be the newer Leonard Nimoy, but then I guess really the Roland Emmerich stuff didn't go anywhere, and he didn't do any more.
Yeah, he's a little typecast.
Yeah.
Well, he did come back for the Night Court. He played that goofy guy.
I was glad he reprised that character.
Yeah. Yeah, he has fond memories of that too. I've heard him talk about it. But
he, by and large, has an opinion, but he's not passionate about making us feel the same way, and he doesn't browbeat people. So go ahead and have your opinion. That's why America's here.
Okay. Well, great review by JT. I agree on all that. Really well put. I loved that you used the word subtracted from the critique. That was very well done. It's really good. I'm okay with them bringing Spiner into this because it does add a little bit to the Soong lore, and it does show that kind of genius, it is hereditary, I believe, and it shows that you can have some bad effects of very smart intellect. And I think they showed a lot there.
His descendants only going to make a monster who summons a monster that destroys an entire fucking colony vampirically. And hey, dead man, beaming back home, Admiral. Have a good night. You know what? Hang on, I will beam you down, dead man. Here you go, with full patent fanfare. We'll beam you down. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats. You're the man. All right. Back to the episode. Sean, please finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. I was fine with them bringing him in to do the Soong. It connects it to TNG a little bit and some more lore for that family, and is well done. Like you said, the action is great. I do think they got some stunt people who could handle some lines, as I think Jonathan Frakes mentions that one of the actors in First Contact, he said, the director's commentary, he says, yeah, this guy, he's a stunt guy, but he can handle a few lines. Really well done. And we've got I think it was a wise choice to do this in 3 parts. We got a really good episode coming up next week. I think I like that one even more than this.
Cold Station, I think, is
Cold
the next
Station. One. Yeah, it's
with
really
another famous actor in that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actor.
Yeah, the guy that plays Phlox's friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're pulling season-long threads here a little bit. They're getting interesting here. It's very interwoven. Next week will be a much more intricate conversation because episode 2, they keep weaving this plot well. Mm-hmm. It's a movie-length plot. You know what?
It really is. It could have been a movie.
Good. You know what? Yeah. Okay. So continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll with my grade. I give this a 91. I was going to give it a little bit higher, but I do think the second episode in this is a touch better. So I need to reserve the score down a little bit.
It's an A even.
A little over that. It gets like an A with a point on it.
Yeah, no, like good civic behavior. Okay, So here we go. Here's Teague's take. I thought that this episode was not only a very interesting story that was a very specific sci-fi, which would be Star Trek lore fanfic canon, canonical fanfic, and Deep Space Nine could be called the same thing, but what we have here is we're building on several different Star Trek ideas when we really have found that our home true North Star, just like when we give that compass to Paul, is that this show needs to be more like the original series. And that's the impression they want to leave you with. They want Archer to be more like a Kirk-type captain. They want him to have the toughness and the appeal. They want they don't want him to have any of the diplomatic things that Picard had. They want him to be reasonable, but they don't want him like talking out some long treatise. They've seen that fail in movies. So they've kind of perfected their non-Kirk captain here. They struck gold with Patrick Stewart as Picard in TNG. Sisko, it takes a little while for them to get that character right, but he's good when they got him going. With Janeway, maybe it never fully clicks. God forbid me saying that one. But
depending on the writer.
Yeah. With Archer, he's actually, I think, just a hair better than Stewart and just a hair better than Brooks as a captain. Mm-hmm. I think he brings a whole different dimension to the role. Part of it is that his year of hell, his starship mine, his, star base mine, his, whatever, he handles it in a completely different way that's arced different and better than the other one. So I have come to have it be Kirk and Archer are my top 2 captains. But as far as this episode goes, we had no planet that we went to that was different, but we go to like a space station and we go to another ship and we go to that place where they have the temporary employment agency where everyone can get a job forever with no need for worrying about benefits from the Orions. And so we see that. And
terrible HR, though.
It is. We've seen Orions around, but we haven't really met and hung out with them much, if I recall. Like we just maybe a word here, a word there. So they're kind of central now. So we're featuring a OG species. That's fun. We're not member burying them. There was never a lot about them, so we can talk about them without messing up canon. I like that. So, safe in the Shran sense of the word. Missed opportunity to bring Shran into this earlier. I don't remember if he shows up in this one at all. I don't think he does. But he will be back this season to finish up his Enterprise arc. I thought as far as this one goes, there was no planet, but we did go to that space station. The pacing of this is a part 1 of 3, and a pacing of it within the episode were both really, really good. It was brisk, but not disorienting. It was just the right amount of show versus tell. just the right amount of exposition. The way they took Archer hostage showed how much they cared about Brent Spiner. Brent Spiner does his deeper heel turn. He's a dick to begin with. He has a slight face moment where he's like quirky and a little bit like the Data we remember, and they play with that well. And then he does this deep heel turn where it's like, all right, you know what? He's a dick, and if they have to kill him next time, I'm okay with that. And that's how we leave him. The Augments go from interesting and tough and picking on the right people to feral scumbags messing with all the wrong people, not behaving and causing problems to our heroes. And Soong, at best he's a really good villain, but like the dramatic ceiling, here and there he comes down with Borderland personality disorder, where he's just conveniently a little bit too much one way or the other, but by no means terrible. And I should be in the big seat. I messed up my own plan, but you know what? Honestly, I was not thrilled with the way they ended up going with the end of the episode cliffhanger, because I was so eager for the story to continue. But overall, it was a good episode, and I also give it an A, and I'll give it a 90 because that's easy. And you know what? Let's take a look at our viewers. We got a good amount of votes in this, considering it was a holiday weekend. Thanks everyone who took the poll, because it's interactions that help. And if you're listening later for video on demand, if you want to hype it, hey, I don't care, but I think it has to be linear, so I might be asking for no reason. But you know what? Like and follow this stream. Help us get to like New Trek producer territory. It'd be great. We got 20 now. Whenever it hits 30, we get a really great booster in a week. So a lot of people will probably listen later, so your like really counts. But here we go. I honestly do think it was an A. Let's see what our chat thought. Our chat gave it 36% A, 43% B, 7% gave it a C, and a D and F, 14%. A couple of people just plain old don't like the episode.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming one is John the Beagle Dad. I know he doesn't like this whole arc, so he probably gave it an F. But someone else out there just really doesn't like it. What are you going to do? It's a good faith downvote. You're allowed to not like it. You really are. You could have thought it was a bit too much, a bit too far in a few places with Brent Spiner. You know what? Maybe there was someone else out there who could have played this role.
Find this man.
Exactly. Maybe they could have found someone else. And, it left me with some questions.
What does God need with a starship?
But you know what?
I don't care.
Wasn't one of them. I did care. I wanted to know, what will these terrible Augments do next in the world of Star Trek? It was interesting. It was cool. They were exactly what we needed from Star Trek, and I didn't have a problem with them. I agree with our chat, mostly giving it A, B territory. I think you're right. It's a good Star Trek tale, and it's a particular kind of science fiction that is specifically Star Trek. But you know what? In the 20 minutes we have left, I know you guys watched the show, and we had hoped to be on more to do it together. But you know what? There's another show that this channel does. It's called Landman. And you guys have been watching it, and there is a great deal of controversy, sirs and madams, about Landman right now. So I just ask you guys, do you want to weigh in on this new criticism that the female characters are so bad, sirs, so bad, that in fact they are taking away from the show, and that anytime they're on the camera, it sort of disengages people, that they're too mean and that they're too fucked up? I thought they were still being funny, and that it was a show about universally bad people with no good characters. Who's the good person? That was my counter to it. Anybody?
I haven't seen episode 2 yet, so I don't know.
I have not seen episode 2, but I did want to say that Admiral, I think you're into the bad girl kind of thing. So you might be taking a charitable look at them. Is all I'm saying,
It is possible that I have been like just sort of roped into having feelings for the land women, and that land boys story is pretty good. Landman episode 2 was good, but it did not land without, get the pun there, it did not land without some controversy. People found the episode to be a little bit messed up because for the second time in a row, they hit the beat where Ainsley and Angela were mean to an outlandish degree. And Ainsley and Angela just like were really fucked up. And it was a Rebecca heavy episode. So they got criticized big time. The one thing that we did get that could be a game changer is Sam Elliott is now firmly ensconced into the show. I thought the funeral would be this week, but the Texas-sized funeral got put off one more week. We're building up to it still. I won't tell you guys anymore. It's a really good episode worth watching. Marathon it tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow night with Landman episode 3, where we'll see if Taylor Sheridan can right the ship from his most controversial episode. And I would say this, there has not been a huge drop-off. We went from 2,200 views in a day for Landman Live episode 1, and episode 2 just had a lot of slag being talked about it. It built up about 300 or 400 views. What we got was episode 1, 1,200 people saw it. 1/4 of them turned into our fans plus our initial audience. So now that we have, that's the way I view it, right? We got seen by a lot of people. 2.1 thousand people watched Landman episode 1. And then the show took a beating. And then for Landman episode 2, there was a lot less interest. There really was in punditry about it because a lot of people were disgusted by Angela and Ainsley in episode 2. They repeat beats from episode 1, and I thought it was just as funny, but it became very controversial. Sirs and madams, indeed, and people thought it was very, very controversial indeed. And so we'll see if they right the ship. That's dropping now. I'm interested in going to watch that in a little while. I'll be back with Landman tomorrow at, I think Germ's watch party is at 7, and we know that the review show is at 8. Germ most likely will be doing the watch party part of the show. If not, I will do it. So just once Landman gets set up in the afternoon, there'll be a pin post with directions to whichever way the watch party goes down, whether hosted or not. And Krimlon and Radioactive will be there with us for that. And that one was just wild engagement last week, but pretty much legitimate. It was like, like crazy waves sweeping through, but eroding in ways that made sense. It was just strange waves of real engagement. And it'll never cease to amaze me how many people think that Landman Live, purposely titled to make you understand it's not Landman, would still possibly only be tuning in because they think it's the actual show on demand whenever they want. I don't know how long this is going to take, despite the contract, to just realize that you're not showing a live television show. Based on what happened to me and the fact that about 500 people really watched it and watched all of it, and thanks to everyone who watched most of it. It had a decent tune-out time because of so many people who watched most of it. But like when you average out the hours it got versus the amount of people who watched it, it was like, no, like it wasn't like there was one point, like it wasn't like everyone's tune-out time synced up roughly to the commercial. The commercial was towards the end. I go very light on commercials when we do it. Like there's never a commercial live. You can depend on that. And when you watch a live upload later, there's one in about the first 20 minutes, and then there's one an hour for as many hours as there are. So maximum of like 4 in one of these. So Landman tomorrow night, it's kind of a make or break episode. The haters of the episode got a lot of punches in last week. Punditry was down, but maybe within a foreseeable amount. I don't think it's crazy that 2,100 people would watch our show and about 300 or 400 would end up liking it enough to come back and watch it for a reliable amount of time. It averages out to, it made sense at the 2,100 people. Some of them just didn't care or didn't like our punditry, which, you can't make everyone happy. It's perfectly okay not to like it. And you're free to look for other Landman pundits, but good luck. I still am. Aside from the Paramount official people, I'm the only guy out there and I'm the only game in town. Whenever I do Landman, it says less than 100 videos for that and less than 100 videos for Enterprise. So, you know, we're swimming in the shallow end of the engagement pool as far as shows go. Landman, the bottom, wasn't supposed to fall out week 2. We can't be sure yet if there's damage. We know there's persistent criticism of the female characters being too cartoonishly mean. And like I said, with the Rebecca-heavy episode, you might be able to see how that would make people angry enough to be tuned out by it in general. I don't know. She's a hard-to-take character. Guys, thoughts on Rebecca before we get out of here? And tell us, and we'll do our final wrap-up of what we're doing during the week.
Rebecca's the attorney?
Yeah, Rebecca from Landman. Just not.
I love her.
You guys haven't seen
I love her.
Two. I think she's hot. That part I like.
Yeah, I thought she's well written. Yeah, I don't think she's too mean in season 1 or episode 2 of the. Well, yeah, I don't think she's.
How could she be? How could someone this beautiful actually be wrong? Right? How could someone that good looking be mean? There's no way that Rebecca is actually mean. So
she needs to eat a cheeseburger.
She's pretty hot though. You know what? Like I would enjoy eating that cheeseburger with her, and I would watch how she went after the straw on that soda with great interest. Great interest indeed. But Landman rolling along fine. We'll be back with the most talked about show that we're covering right now, Landman. We'll see what happens. Is episode 3 going to be a bottom falling out? I didn't make an episode 2 essay because I made the It's a Wonderful Life essay. If you guys want something to check out after we're out of here, I'd love it if people check that one out. If you don't have time to watch it, do me a favor. Like it now and watch it later so that it pops up in your feed. It did decently yesterday, and I want to thank Sean and JT for helping get the word out. Here's how it works, guys, in the cutthroat world of YouTube, and it's got a decent amount of likes for the amount of views it has. It's doing very well organically, and it has a nice amount of engagement, but more would be better. I made a troll holiday video based on a vote that we took during the weekday shows, and what I did was last year, I made a video about It's a Wonderful Life, and it wasn't great, but it was funny. So what I did was this year, I rescued it, and I raised the video level to what I hope you guys will think is great. And it only got like 500 views last year. We put on like 1,700 new viewers since then who haven't seen it. It was only a member video then. Now you can see it for everyone. It's out there in the wild. It's a Wonderful Housing Scam is what it's called. It's about It's a Wonderful Life and how everything in the movie since 1946 has actually really become specifically illegal. Because if you watch It's a Wonderful Life, it's a toxic mortgage scam, it's redlining, and it's crony capitalism, all of which are like felonies now. And in the movie, they're presented as good things. And also the 2008 banking and loan crisis is what inspired it, because I was like losing. Well, I mean, I had savings until then. And now when the movie comes on, all I can think of is like, yup, 2 economic meltdowns ago when I first saw this movie as a fucking high school student, I thought it was great. And now every single thing about this movie that was seen as cool about this movie is like specifically illegal, like giving loans to only the right people. So it's only 9 minutes long. I only put one commercial in it. That's my pledge to you on videos that long. When there's a when it's an upload of a live stream, it's the first 20 minutes. There's one video at about 20 minutes in, and then one an hour after that. And then for video essays, if it's 9 minutes, there'll be like 8 or 9 minutes. There'll be one video. There'll be one commercial break. Any longer than that, I might put in one more. But if it's only 8 or 9 minutes, only one commercial break. That's my pledge to you, because I'm more about engagement, especially with Star Trek. But with the holiday video, I just have come to hate It's a Wonderful Life so much that I am just like the biggest Grinch when I watch it, that I want everyone else to at least understand why I hate it. And I make a funny case. And on this one, guys, if you're a fan of me as a YouTuber, like it does hold up as really good satire, in my opinion. I think I'm at my satirical humorous best. It's not my most gut-busting jokes, not that there aren't some good ones in there. It's just that the essay, the idea, and the concept are all 100% sound as satire. It's bulletproof. And I really hope you'll take the time out to enjoy it. It's fun stuff. So that's what I'm up to. And you know what? I hope everyone had a great and healthy and fun Thanksgiving. I just, you know what, for the hell of it, to share with you guys, I saw my mom. And then I walked across town after I did like my thing with her, because she's pretty old and she just likes to do her thing and then just like, watch TV. She likes to watch. She has like a date with Jethro from 3 to 7 every night, and then she goes to bed. You know what I mean? She watches NCIS, and then that's it. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I went over to my biological family. Like, ironically, lives in the same sleepy Long Island hamlet. How strange is that? So I walked over there and saw them, and saw both sides, basically both sides of the family in a weird way at the same time. Let's just finish off these questions really quick while I ask JT what you'll be doing this week.
Tuesday I'll be on 9 p.m. Eastern with Dadman Walking 55, doing some sports ball. A lot of college football has come to a head, and talking a lot of playoff talk there. So should be a lot of fun. Even if you don't get into sports, drop on by. We go into other stuff too. We try to make it entertaining for everybody. Wednesday, I'll be back on Dave C's channel going through, we'll have to talk about which comic it is, but it was Batman Begins, and I think we're still going to do another issue at least. So there you have it.
All right. Sean, you get moved up for the moment so we can see you. What are you and Otto, the autopilot, up to this week? Any models coming out? Anything new going on?
Yeah, working on Voyager right now. I'm trying to get. I've sent you guys a couple pictures. She's coming along pretty well. I still got to put the videos together, but I think I'll be done with the model before I publish a video. That way, I can just get the whole series out in a on a regular schedule. Let's see, Wednesday. Yes, tonight we schedule in the shales.
Yes, I have some resentment for that. But I'll humor your labor.
Yeah. Let's see. Wednesday, we're going to be doing The Long Kiss Goodnight. I've never seen that movie, so looking forward to watching it. And in the meantime, my mom is in town for another 3 weeks, so I'm looking forward to. Had a good Thanksgiving.
Quality mom time.
Yeah, and of course, I had to bring out the picture of Dad to be there at the table with us, and. His back was turned to us. He was fishing. So
yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, but it was a good Thanksgiving. I was on my feet all frickin' day cooking, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Made my Chex Mix in the morning, which is a tradition, and made pizzas all day today.
And as we know, JT lives in Michigan. He spent his Thanksgiving drinking moonshine and firing a pistol off his back porch to keep the nomads at bay, right?
Oh, of course. Well, I don't really need to do that because I'm so close to the Omnicorp building that local
OCP
really
tower.
Yeah.
By the way, Kal-El64, this is my philosophy. There are no ads during the live stream, during the replay of the live stream. One in the first 20 minutes, because that's like about 10 minutes less than the average listen time for a person listening live. So figure, twice as long as TV plus a little bit, almost 3 times as long as TV, because it would be 21 minutes would be how long TV would have 3 commercial interruptions in that time. So I'll have 1. And then about 1 every hour after that for the live streams. And I try to fit them in an actual place, but I'm not spending like a whole lot of time like fighting YouTube, because for like a lot of times they like to do is they keep it from being able to be monetized on AdSense during the hottest 3 or 4 hours. And they want to have their ads in it and control it, which means about as much time with you interacting to skip the ads as you would spend watching, and I won't do it to you. So I turn off the monetization, and out of spite, they make me wait like 2 days to be able to put in the ads where I want them. But I won't compromise, and you don't deserve to be raked over the coals with ads. I just hope they don't delete my channel because they're on a whole freaking binge of doing that. Please, YouTube gods, don't spare me. Anyway, I throw myself on your mercy, please. I'll name my firstborn YouTube Teague. Ulysses T. Teague. After you, my lord. All I've ever done is try to please you. Okay, the TNG movies got worse as they kept making them. I so agree.
Yeah.
The exception of Worst Contact. Worst Contact's a terrible story, but it's watchable and it's a decent movie. That's my stand on that one, and I think that everyone, like, you can take a different. It's not really a distinction without a difference because it's just a watchable, popcorn chewing, non-Star Trek movie set in the Star Trek nexus. It's cool because it doesn't bother me because it's just a dream that Picard's having because Star Trek 1 is iron. During that movie is when I was like, all that stuff people were talking about like the nexus, like, and how it's probably inescapable. I'm going to embrace that from here on in because I hated the story of this movie, but I did enjoy most of the movie as an action movie. I hated seeing him get cucked for the first time with "You broke your little ships." Thought that was a real low moment, but the TNG movies
I don't know
get worse.
If they do get worse, because I think Nemesis is slightly better than his erection. His erection is the worst one.
It's a terrible fucking movie. Nemesis at least has a good performance. Before we go further, Mark, sorry he's late. I hope that when you continue packing, you're able to listen to the show. But even if you're not, the important thing here is, looks like a big move. Hopefully people are doing most of the grunt work for you. But if you're doing a lot of driving, a lot of packing, please take it easy. Be careful. Please drive very carefully. It's not you so much as the other people on the road that we deeply fear, so, be careful, and, we care about you, and we hope that your move goes very smoothly and that you love where you land. Oof. And Kal-El says, I reviewed Nemesis on the Clobbering Times channel when he was doing Saturday Night Star Trek. My feelings and opinions of that movie are summed up there. Kal-El. Is that also your tag and your name are the same? So I'm trying to remember that one. It couldn't have been when the movie came out. There was no YouTube quite yet, but you know what? If you're a channel member, you can use the emoji. If not, you can use just the CT. But I have the very special remember emoji for fallen Star Trek creators, especially great ones like Clobby, who did so much for us, and we're here. And you know what? It's our desire, and it was your wish that we preserve this community, and we'll be back next Saturday night with more Star Trek. Till then, I think Tuesday I might be busy this week, which means look for me Thursday night and probably Friday before Doomcock to make up the views and get everything in. But tomorrow night at 8 p.m. after the 7 p.m. watch party on Germs, over here on my channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., we will have Landman Live, the review show, and we will be checking out very controversial episode 3, Sirs and Madams. So hit us up with a like if you're watching now or later, and if you're traveling tomorrow listening to this, watching with the tab open and hitting the like helps too. Everybody's got their plugs in, and of course we do remember Clobby. He was great. And it was a couple of years ago now. I was listening to that channel that long ago, but you know what? I just I don't remember it. You know what, though? Maybe next time we do a fan roundtable, you might be interested in joining us because, well, when we get to milestones or important chats, we do talk about, we do have some fans on. Last time was the Dead Man. And I think RRTNZ has earned a permanent seat at the table, making comments on behalf of the fans. He brings so much passion. He has so much love for Star Trek that whether or not I agree with him or not, he makes such great points. He brings out the best analysis in me that he'll always be there. And that one weekday show where he just jumped on live with me and we just talked Star Trek the whole time, it was people were loving it. He brings so much passion. So RRTN will always have a seat at the table speaking for the fans, and we'll bring a couple other people on from time to time when we hit milestones. So, we thank you for that, and we'll be back next week at 10 p.m. with Cold Station. Till then, like I said, I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 with Landman, Season 3, Episode 3 review. It's dropping in about an hour, but I'm going to go get some sleep because God knows making all those video essays really beat me. Yeah, the NYPD with their weekly appearance on my show. In the city of New York, broadcasting Star Trek is considered highly controversial. The crimes against the fandom of the Final Frontier are investigated by the dedicated detectives of Saving Star Trek. These are their stories. It's funny. It's like Space, the Final Frontier, now has to be considered they're probably the most famous, but the most successful opening to a TV show has got to be Law and Order because it's 30 seasons of the same show coming up, right? 27 in the books. That's crazy.
You have soap operas that have been on for almost 100 years that beat it out.
Sands Through the Hourglass, so are the same, such are the days of our lives. But I don't know, primetime TV, you're talking 60 times the audience, right? In the city of New York, crimes of a sexually based nature are considered particularly heinous. They're investigated by the dedicated detectives of the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories. That's 27 years of TV. What an accomplishment. And I'm sure Kayla Wallace really appreciates us talking about Special Victims Unit as we show her picture here. But she could only hope to end up on a show that big as a DA or something like that.
Yeah.
And she would be playing a much less evil lawyer there. Although, honestly, after the way she's been a heel in these first 2 episodes of this season, she should show up as someone who gets a really horrific sex offender sprung. And then later in the season, they kill again, and she gets them sprung again. And then in the final episode of the season, they kill her. That's how good this character is at playing evil.
Okay.
She plays evil so well. Rebecca is an evil character, and it would be cartoonish if not for the strong portrayal. Afterwards, there's an aftertaste of the performance that she is so strongly evil, and her performance is so good that it shakes you up a little bit, and you spend a lot of time analyzing this character, and I have broken this character with analysis to the point that I have some issues with it. She's a little too mean, and RRTNZ has also brought up some points in our discussions that he's correct about with Rebecca. But I do think a lot of it's earned, and I think that their legal talk, while LOL in real life, they do make sure it passes a legal sniff test. But yeah, she is so damned mean. She's just really, really mean. Heavy dose of her in this episode. That might be why people got so angry. My only response to that one is there is no admirable male character offsetting this. It's to say all the female characters are mean is to say, okay, we have a show of characters of both genders. What do we do to change it up? Have a trans character who's also mean? Where's the admirable person? Where's the admirable person? There are men and women on this show. Almost all of them are bad. Even Cooper is now bad. So we'll be back tomorrow night with the number one show. They could just throw Alec
Baldwin on the show, and then everybody will just appear that much more pleasant. So
we have Andy Garcia, who's acting his ass off. He comes off convincingly as Mexican, but Andy speaks Spanish with that Cubano accent. And, he's hiding it real well. Real good acting coming off as a Mexican, as a Cuban, very different, kind of people. So he's affectating a different kind of posture and really coming across differently and giving a different kind of Latino energy. And you know what? One would be tempted to say that he would play a Latinx, but instead he kept it Latino, or as I like to say, Hispanic. He was Hispanic about it, which is something, It was a strong Hispanic masculine performance, and in a show with a gendered language, I would have to say he did one of the better jobs we've seen in a long time. By the way, Sean, before we let you go, what's the movie that we're going to watch for DC this week? Have you been? Have you been informed?
The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Oh, that's right. You told me that
1996. Gina Davis, Samuel Jackson.
Has a hot body.
Oh, yeah.
She has a really hot body. She's like 6 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here, Rob Wright met her. She was at the when I went up to the Dallas Fan Expo.
Did he get any of her DNA? Can we clone a Gina Davis?
I don't know, but he went up and talked to her, and she's a very interesting lady. She actually qualified.
When you say went up, do you
Olympic.
mean that like he had to stand up a few steps and like walk?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
She was an archer.
Yeah. So he went up and talked to her about that. So she like engaged him in a conversation because it was probably something most people don't talk to her about.
She took it. I think the deal is she does do speaking tours about the Olympic experience and the archery. She does get talked about it a fair amount, but it was kind of like when I met Val Kilmer and I talked to him about like how I loved him in Tombstone, and he was there, basically because he was Batman at the sci-fi convention.
Yeah.
He really appreciated talking about that and the Doors rather than just Batman over and over. And I got like a little more of a human interaction out of him. So good for Rob Wright. Knows how to apply that human touch. But like I said, when you say went up to her, I'm guessing he had to like stand up on like a milk crate and be like, "Hello, Miss Davis." And you know what? TCU takes such a beating in episode 1 of Landman. Is he one of the people who's out there saying not to watch it anymore? The way she goes in there and acts like an absolute Nazi. I intercut her with Downfall for that video essay. Guys, check out the Landman episode 1 video essay. There's no Landman episode 2 video essay because there's going to be an essay for video 3 where we talk about the controversy, and maybe episode 3. Episode 2 I gave our review of. I'm not making a video essay. I have to assess. Everyone says that they went too far in too many places with Ainsley. And with that, I say to you guys, thank you very much. You know where to find us. And we'll be back with Radioactive and Crimwan. Landboy. Yeah, Landboy, we'll talk about him tomorrow. Let's see what he does. We'll be interested to see what the next chapter in the Landman story is tomorrow night when we're back here at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. over at Germs. We love you all. And with that, let's see. I think that everybody's owed a Sydney Sweeney video, so let's just...
Incoming Sydney Sweeney video. Set burners to full. Lubrication supply sufficient for projected fapping level. Paper towels to standby. Turbo lift door secured and locked. Wives and girlfriend interruption probability at 12%. You may commence masturbatory actions at any time.
One, I want that picture of Sydney Sweeney. Two, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Landman would say, you might feel all good about your water-based lubricant, but it's in a petrochemical bottle. Just a dick like
I'll get you that picture, but for an extra $3, I'll laminate it.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna relaminate it myself, or laminate something. Thinking about she looks smoking hot in that picture. What a smoke show, guys! We love you all. Everyone coming through later, we love you too. Let's see if we can't get this one up to 30 likes to give it that extra push, especially on a weird night like tonight. Good engagement for a long weekend. We love you all and thank you. Good night, everybody. Here comes the Sydney Sweeney video. Why?
Because I can.
All right, here she comes. Bye. Can I finish?